No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
Well, welcome you all knucklehead McGee's to Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, come on now. Friday, Gavin and Games, good to see you, let's go. Well, hello, it is good to be back. It is nice to see everybody. Hello, Gnawdog. Hello, Blue Gamer, Toxmod, Mutimo, of course, Brad, Ian, and all the rest, you sons of bitches. I appreciate you being here. We got a lot to talk about today, and I have some neat stuff to show you today. I'm going to show you finally, I got some, let's just put it this way, I'll give you details in a minute. I got some information at the Last Stand Media Show last Friday that now makes me very comfortable and totally fine revealing the video game that Bartlett Jones was working on when we were forced to shut down because of lack of ducats. So I'll be showing that towards the end of the show. We'll be talking about the PS5 Pro. We have a lot to go over. It's going to be fun. Let's all welcome Rocker Matt to the Diet Soda Soldiers. Welcome, sir. Good to have you back in the fold. I like your avatar. It's very scary. It's very Friday the 13th-y. It's good to see you, pal. And thank you for that support. Now, listen. Speaking of, well, let me give you a quick little heads up for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be on at 1 o'clock California time. Septic Sauce, Gaz's show. That's coming up, like I said, 1 o'clock California time. Yeah, and we'll be talking, I guess, about the PS5 Pro, which is what everybody seems to be talking about today. And we'll also be talking about, I guess, my Call of Duty teabagging complaint, which people think I'm upset about, like I want to cancel the game. I can't wait for the new Call of Duty. The beta was a blast. But, you know, it is, I am allowed to have opinions that you disagree with, internet, you fucking morons. Yeah. Jaffe says, Toxmod, I had heard everybody was happy to see you at the Last Stand Media Show. It was a great deal of fun, man. I had a lot of fun being there. I will tell you, let me show you that. Well, first, let me tell you something. We'll get to that. I want to tell you something about that. But so I'm kind of obviously in spooky mood time because Friday the 13th, Halloween's closing in pretty soon. I started watching this yesterday. I'm only about 30 minutes into it. This is really good. The First Omen. Started watching it on Hulu. I'm probably going to watch a bunch of fucking horror movies this week and this month. I'm excited for that shit, man. But this is good. I don't know if anybody's seen the whole thing yet, but I started watching it. Like I said, I was very surprised how creepy, and it felt like a good 70s horror film. It was good stuff. I recommend it so far. I'll give you a full review the next stream. I'll be finished with it by then. Oh, Ian, you were at the show. Okay, excellent. Well, I want to talk about it in just a second. Rocker Matt says, Jaffe, did you see the rumors that the canceled Twisted Metal game might be back in production? Someone claims to have insider info. I saw that, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way. I don't know anything about it, but it's possible. That would be cool. But I do have a really interesting Twisted Metal surprise to share with you. Not about Twisted Metal, but it may as well be also towards the end of the show. There's a guy who made a game. I don't think it's available yet, but he'll probably let you into an early access on Steam. It is clearly a love letter to Twisted Metal 2. It's pretty fucking cool. So I want to share that with you later in the show as well. Speaking of the Last Stand Media Show, though, I want to tell you this. So I was listening to a little bit, just the beginning. I haven't had a lot of time today to listen to the whole thing of the latest Sacred Symbols over on Colin's show. And they were talking about the San Diego show that I was part of last week. And, you know, I hope I don't get shit for this because apparently people were talking about this as one of the things I said that people kind of remember. I don't know. But there was one point in the show where I started calling the people in the audience that were fat, including myself. And I wasn't, and I was doing it, you know, I wasn't doing it to be cruel. I'm like, look, I'm fat too. Being fat sucks. It sucks that we still fat shame people in this society, that people can be fat phobic in this society. It was really more of a normalization of stop acting like it's a big deal. Yeah, it's going to fuck your health up. But, I was like, yeah, you're fat, dude. I told this guy in the audience, big fat guy. I'm like, you're fat. And I didn't even think about it. And the fact that the boys on Sacred were talking about it makes me go, oh, shit. Who have I pissed off this week? Was not the intention. Was not the intention. I think we have way too much fat phobia in this country. I think people are weird about people being overweight and they don't want to be. I mean, I get it. Nobody wants to be unhealthy. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable, but Jesus, take it down a notch. Fat should not be a bad word. Yeah, Fentazin says as a fat person, we all know we're fat, right? So no, the truth doesn't hurt, Nah Dog. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't hurt. It's like, yes, we're fat. You're probably an alcoholic, whatever. Everybody's got their bag of hammers. What do you need? It sucks, but, welcome to the human race. Rocker Matt says, Jaffe, I remember you mentioning you had some interest in Lollipop Chainsaw. Don't play the remaster till the bugs get worked out. It's a good game, but a bad port. Right, exactly. That's sort of what I've been hearing, and we're actually going to talk about that in just a little bit. I want to tell you one thing really quick that I just thought was amusing. So I think these flyers that they still put in your mailbox need to be illegal if you say I don't want any more. I mean, the talk about saving the environment, the number of these fucking little bullshit, whether it's election stuff or businesses, who the fuck looks at these, cares about these? They usually go right into the goddamn trash when I get inside. But I saw this one today. It's from some gym membership from Crunch Select. But what I loved was this. And it makes you go, maybe the delivery people need to get paid a lot more money. You see this? This is something called, there's a woman getting into this kind of pod, red light therapy. And it's talking about like they do weights and they do, cardio and boxing, and they have red light therapy where I guess it's some kind of mental, I don't fucking know what it is. Point being, though, is that looks just like this goddamn thing. This is the suicide pod. That's currently legal and just starting to get used in Sweden, where you go into the pod, you play some nice music, you can have them deliver it anywhere in the world and see a beautiful, not in the world, but in Sweden, and have a beautiful vista. Hit a button when you're ready, say goodbye, hit a button, and it releases a odorless gas that knocks you out and kills you. And it's a legal way to say, hey, I'm ready to go. Look at that. You want to make sure if you take Crunch up on their offer, these guys are called Crunch Select, that there was not a mix-up at Amazon or the post office, because that'll fuck you. That'll fuck you bad. You think you're getting red light therapy, but the only light you see is the big white one at the end of the tunnel. So, but yeah, those are, that's a real thing now, the suicide pods. I got no issues with it. I think it's great. I don't think suicide is great. I think, and probably in Sweden, this is, there's a whole process, right? You don't just show up and go, I'm ready. It's like Trump the other day saying, oh, kids are coming home from school. It's like, hey, I changed genders. My penis was cut off. It's like, what are you talking about? But I believe you have to kind of go through a process of like seeing some doctors and some therapy, and you have to wait X number of months. And then once you get around to it, you can make the choice. Darth Nugget says, yeah, because you're a crazy leftist. There's nothing leftist about it. People have things that occur to them in their lives that are really, really fucking hard, and they can't get through them. Either because they're not solvable or because they just don't know what else to do. I don't advocate it. I don't suggest it. But if we're really all about freedom and letting people live their lives the way they want, then they should be able to end their lives the way they want in a way that is dignified. I mean, let me tell you something. We're going to get to games. I promise you. This is not an I Love the Weird show. My ex-mother-in-law passed away a few years back of dementia. And you don't pass away from dementia because you forget how to drive the car and you're driving and you go off a cliff. You pass away because pretty much you just end up becoming a living mannequin. You're barely moving. You don't eat. You starve to death. It's miserable. So this idea that, oh, well, that's how it should be. Fuck you. Insane. Darth Nugget says, so pull yourself up by the bootstraps or get a chair and a belt. Don't be a... Look, not everybody has bootstraps. That's what people like you don't understand. Provide the bootstraps. A lot of people haven't provided. I had them provided for me. Okay. All right. Let's move forward, my delightful friend. Yeah, Zeke doesn't like it. It doesn't matter if you like it. That's my whole point, though, which is then don't do it. I think if they were forcing you to do it, then I think we would have an issue, Zeke. You and I would be in total agreement. But aren't you guys kind of tired? I thought a lot of you guys in the chat were right-wing people. Aren't you guys in the chat the ones that are the right-wing people that are like, get the government out of my life, let me do what I want to do? Leave people alone. You don't have to do it though, Zeke. If I'm in the neighborhood, I'll help you out. If they're trying to drag you to the pod, but people want to go, let them go. Hello, Lutron. Good to see you, bud. All right. Forward we go. All I can tell you is I love me an infographic, and this makes me go, Jesus, I really got to missing Elden Ring because, yes, you know, I have not finished it yet. It's my favorite game of all time. The first one, not Erdtree. My favorite game of all time, but I haven't had the time. There's so much to play, so much going on. You know, it's good stuff, but I got to get around to it. But this, if you played Erdtree, and I know a lot of you did, they did want to let you know a couple things. Now, I don't even know who Makilia is, but I guess these are followers that people could summon. So people summoned Dryleaf Dane the most, Redmane Freya the second most, and Needle Knight Leda the third most, I guess. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure you do. The Spirit Eel has defeated our Tarnished 290,000 times. Top 5 magic spells that were used: Impenetrable Thorns, Rolana's Twin Moons, Glintblade Trio, Rings of Spectral Light, and the Mantle of Thorns. This just makes me so excited to play this goddamn thing. I got to get back into this game. I love this game. Hell, I may replay Elden Ring now that I understand it better. Like, I was not a magic user at all in Elden Ring. And I see all these people using magic and these cool spells. I'm like, oh, I got to go play a spell guy. The top 5 incantations, which are spells. Knight's Lightning Spear. Number 2, Aspects of the Crucible Thorns. Number 3, Midra's Flame of Frenzy. Number 4, Pest Thread Spears. I don't know. 5, Golden Arcs. Wayne in the chat is saying, wait, people died to the Spirit Eel? How? I don't even know what it is. Looks like a fucking worm that you pull out of your butthole if you have worms. The top 5 Spirit Ashes of this game. Number 5, Divine Bird Warrior Ornis. Come on now. Inquisitor Ashes. Number 4. Number 3, Demi-Human Swordsmith Yosh. He's good people. Number 2, Holan and Anna. And the number 1 was Telu the Golem Smith. Okay. So there you go. People love this game. I'm very curious how it ended up selling, given how hard the first game was. But boy, that first game's a masterpiece. Just absolutely fucking excellent. So I'll be getting back into Elden Ring, but I got to get through a bunch of these Christmas games. Hey, Jezebelly, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. So her very first super chat, she says, look, hey, Papa Jaffe, I wanted to say I love your content. I love your content too. Thanks, Jezebelly. Seriously, I appreciate that. And then Piotrek F from Poland drops big super chat, says PS5 Pro. Thank you, buddy. Says killed PC gaming. Oh, come on now. By the way, Elden is overrated. Not to me, it's not. I love it. It's my favorite game of all time, so it's not overrated. But I get that you don't like it. I get that you're not good enough to play it.
Well, let me tell you this, Linda.
But thank you for that super chat, buddy. Oh, Nah Dog, is this putting you to sleep because we're talking about a game that you weren't skilled enough to play? I understand. I wouldn't mind replaying it, says Pedro, but it is such a daunting game to start over again. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go... I got to finish the first one, then I'll go to this one. But so, Jaffe, you can't beat Dark Souls. I haven't played Dark Souls. I played Demon Souls, which I thought was fucking fantastic. Just fantastic game. What OnlyFans, Darth Nugget? I don't have an OnlyFans. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. All right, let's move forward. I want to tell you briefly about this. Listen, man. This game, if anybody's wondering so far what is in the running for my top game of the year 2024, it is Star Wars Outlaws. This is my favorite game of the year so far. It is, I just love it. And I know a lot of people are shitting on it, and a lot of people will hate it, and a lot of people say it's woke or it's buggy. And I'm sure, depending on who you are, those things may be true. I haven't really encountered any of the bugs or anything like that, but I definitely, I've seen other things that I guess people don't dig. But I think it's just the bee's knees, uvula. I don't know. A bee has things, but I love this game so much. And a patch has now come out, and I haven't had a chance to test out the reason I hated this game at first, which was the opening 3 hours of this game. But apparently a patch is out. The director says, yes, it was unfair. The opening of the game was problematic in terms of the way it was tuned. We have fixed all of that. I hope that moves the needle, because my understanding is from the news that it's not selling great. We'll get to that in just a minute, because we're going to talk about the PS5 Pro and as it relates to expenses and all kinds of things. But I'm loving this game. I'm almost done with it. And I did want to let you know, if you've been considering it, they did put a patch out. Piotrek says, I finished Elden Ring, you plebe, whatever the fuck it is. Well, yeah, but it's not overrated. Idiot.
That's a huge bitch.
It's a huge bitch. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. And then coming in, there's Bukaki saying, I love you. Thank you for being here, Bukaki. Thank you for modding. Very, very much, buddy. Lord Garth, been a member for 33 months. Thanks, buddy. Says, when are we going to get the PS6? I don't know, right? I mean, if history is prologue, when was the PS4 Pro out? The PS4 Pro came out, I believe, when Spider-Man launched. So was that 2018 maybe? And then the so maybe in 3 years, 4 years? I don't know. But, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how all this works, because I just, how I feel about the console market. I think there are seismic changes that are happening under our feet, and some people don't even recognize it. And that's what a lot of today's show is actually going to be about. And we'll get to that really, really soon. Brad says, how is Star Wars Outlaws your favorite game if you haven't finished it? Is the beginning of the game really better than every other game you've ever finished? I've played Star Wars Outlaws now for, 20 something hours, and it's my favorite game that I've played this year. That doesn't mean that I'll get to the end, and if I get to the end and it shits the bed, it may not be. But, from everything I've played this year, it's my favorite one. I have never finished Elden Ring, and it's my favorite game of all time. Ian says, I think they're looking at 2028. At least that's what the Sacred Symbols guys think. Yeah, I mean, could be. I just, look, I'm going to make a video, and it's not meant to piss off people, and hopefully it won't, but it probably will piss off some. But, you were talking about Elden Ring. Same thing with Elden Ring. It's favorite game of all time, not of the year. Brad says I was talking about Elden Ring. Why do I have to have finished it for it to be my favorite game of all time? I don't understand. But anyway, so I'm going to make this video about why you should buy, if you're into the game, if you love video games, you need to save up and get a PC. That's my pitch. That's what I think. And I don't think it is, I'm not trying to suggest that the people that love console gaming, because I get that's different. If you love your big TV and you love your pristine audio video experience and you love cinematic looking games, I get it. And you love I get it, the plug and play, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy those consoles till the day you die, assuming they still make them. I get it. But I think if you are a huge fan of the medium, the art form, not a console, not a company, just the art form of video games, you're going to be happier with a PC. And I don't mean, it doesn't even have to be top of the line, high-end PC. It just doesn't. It just needs to get you on the internet, be good enough. Ideally, you can stream some stuff from where you live, but if not, that's not a deal breaker. And if you want to be a game designer or you're considering game design, you need to have a PC. Not because you need to learn a PC, although you do, but because you really can't speak intelligently about the state of the art in terms of not the tech, but the art of the medium of game play, game design, the business, if you are not engaged with what is out to play and experience on the personal computer. I remember when I was working at Bartlett Jones, and there remains, she's not there anymore, but she's still doing great work, an amazing concept artist named Nafisa, one of the best artists I've ever worked with. And she was always talking about these games, because when I started Bartlett Jones, I was still 95% a console guy. Just because I liked Macs, and Macs really weren't known for their games, and so I never really had a reason to play PC gaming. But I will tell you, she was talking about all these games I had never heard of, and I don't remember, probably because at work I was doing some research, and I started getting into my Steam library more, and my mind was just fucking blown wide open regarding the kind of games people are making out there, the kind of things that you can experience, the kind of things that you can test. It is so much more satisfying if you love the medium of video games than just owning a console. And I appreciate that not everybody can afford to buy a PC, but what I'm saying is if you're considering spending a lot of money on a PS5 Pro for some tech that's going to be out of date in 2 years anyway, that's cool. But don't do it if you are more about the game design and more about gameplay, because you're missing out. You're gonna miss out, and I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. And I can show you reams of evidence. In fact, I'm going to show you some in a little bit, but we'll get to that later. But I did want to mention that as we were talking briefly about PCs and the PS5 Pro, and we'll talk specifically about the PS5 Pro in just a second, because people seem to be really mad about it. There's a lot of people upset about it. People are upset that other people don't want it. People are upset that people do want it. People are upset with Sony because it's too expensive, they say. Pedro in the chat says, I think Sony not being able to do the traditional price drop for PS5 and for the Pro, take its original price point, is fuck the optics. I'm sure that's true, but I will tell you that I still think they're going to drop the price this Christmas. It's ridiculous that thing is still selling for $500. That's nuts, man. The PS5 normal, not Pro, is still a $500 purchase, which is bizarre. Zack says, I have a high-end PC and a PS5. I like both. I like both too. He says, but some people just want to plug and play on the couch with a big screen. Right. Those aren't the people I'm talking to. I'm saying if you I'm not talking about if you know you love console gaming and it's categorized as such as you've just described, that's awesome. I absolutely get it. But if you say you're a fan of the medium of interactivity, of video games, of games as an art form, then I think it's a much easier decision to make. Then I think if you're not gaming on PC, because you can still pretty much play everything on console and PC for the most part. I know Nintendo and Sony's late to the party and stuff, but blah, blah, blah. But if you really are about the art form, you need to have yourself a PC when you can. Not everybody can. I'm not some elitist snob who's like, just go buy a PC. I get it. They're super fucking expensive. But save up. Figure it out. Rent one. Get a shitty PC and get a virtual desktop. A lot of these games we're talking about are not, you don't need high-end PCs for the more experimental, interesting stuff. I'd rather GeForce Now my PC games on my projector over my PS5, says Lord Garth. Yeah, there's no doubt. There is no doubt, Lord Garth. GeForce Now has changed the game for the people who actually can get it and have a good experience with it. There's absolutely no fucking doubt. This is weird. Speaking of PC and console, this is a very strange little game. I played Towerborn for about 4 or 5 hours. This is a Microsoft first-party game, well, second-party game. It was supposed to come out this year on Game Pass, but it didn't. It came out in early access on Steam only, and it is coming out free to play on Game Pass on PC and Microsoft Game Pass PC and console next year. But you have to pay like $25 to get into early access on Steam. It's a little strange, right? Well, anyway, I don't know how to feel about this game because I'm glad it's free to play. Here's what I'll tell you about it. It's really good. It's really addictive. The loop is really fun, but I just can't see this game being successful. To give you a high concept, you're basically this character, you make your own character, and you have this like big grid world map. And every time you go onto one of the hexes in the world map, you can't go to all of them. You have to sort of level your way up to sort of expand the fog of war. It's basically just kind of a relatively simple Streets of Rage level where you go left to right and try to get to the treasure chest at the end. And obviously it gets harder, different enemies, blah, blah, blah. But the combat is really fun. It gets more fun as you level up. And there's a big emphasis on grinding your character, unlocks, gear, loot, and then going back into the core moment-to-moment gameplay to level up more, get more gear. And it really does build a nice addictive loop. And it's quite good in that sense. I just don't see, though, how most people are going to want this. Like, it seems like a great mobile game, even though without a controller, it's hard to do some of the moves. I don't think it feels as good as Streets of Rage 4, but it feels good. But it seems like something you would do on a mobile game, you know, or a handheld, like you're waiting for a bus or something. But for this to be the choice that you and your friends kind of log into and say, hey, let's play a bunch of Towerborn, I just can't see this being a success. And that's a shame because it's really good. And obviously free to play is the way to go with this, but I just wonder if this is going to ever be anything more than a niche title, as good as it is. Wayne, thank you for the super chat. He says, hey, look, man, this generation has been the most disappointing. The last gen that felt truly next gen was the PS3. Again, if all you play is console gaming, I get why you would say that. And I'm not trying to rub your nose in it. I'm not trying to repeat myself all day long. I'm just saying that, yeah, the writing is on the wall for the console market. It's too fucking expensive. It's too expensive to make. It's too expensive to curate. It's too expensive to take chances. You're not going to get the world you grew up in anymore. Those days are long gone, just like the arcade days. Gen X had to get over, Gen X geeks had to get over the fact that the days of the arcade are long gone, because that's what we grew up with. The days of the coolest, neatest, tons of games coming out on a console, long gone. Every year there's less and less. And it's not bad. I love my PS5, but I turn it on rarely. The only reason I turned it on recently is for Astrobot, which I love. It's a great game. But, you know, the minute I'm done, I'm back to GeForce Now. Toxmod says, Jaffe, do you love GeForce? Yes. I have, I'm not fucking it, but I have a great affinity for GeForce Now. It is just, it is the joy of, it is the heart and joy of my gaming life right now. Anytime I can play on that service, I play on that service. It is an absolute fucking delight. Yeah, because it's cool. It's cool to play games that look better than you've ever seen. Better than a lot of the stuff Cerny was showing at the PS5 Pro. And the stuff that we don't get on GeForce Now, we'll get in a couple of months that PS5 Pro has. PS6, whatever it's called, PS5 Pro. Yeah, Nawdog says Jaffe has a GeForce strap on. I would get one and wear it if they would pay me to do it. People are like, you're a shill for GeForce Now. I'm a shill for anything I love. You know what I love and I talk about a lot? My kids. Why? Because I love them. You know what I love and I talk about a lot? Raiders Lost Ark. I'm not a shill for it. I just love it. I love Game Pass. I love GeForce Now. Guess what? Game Pass is on GeForce Now. That's a Minkman, baby. Kevin says, I feel like this game, Towerborn, should have been $40. I don't think this game should. Kevin's played Towerborn, by the way, and he really likes it. And again, I really like it. It's good, but I don't think this game is going to do well, whether it's $40 or free to play. Shilling is a paid job, right? People say, oh, you must be getting paid to say good things about this, that, or the other. And I'm like, no, I just like things that you may not like. That doesn't mean I'm a shill. But yeah, I mean, because imagine sitting down in front of your computer with all that you have, or in front of your PlayStation 5 with all that you have, and going, you know what I would rather do instead of go on a big adventure with Space Marine 2 or play Astrobot DLC? I just want to sit here and ground up my Towerborn guy. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work, but it's really good. It's really good. And you know what we're starting to see? And this hasn't failed yet, but Concord might be the canary in the coal mine, because I think this is going to fail. But it shouldn't, in the sense that if you say a good team shouldn't fail, yeah, I know. Concord's a good team. That shouldn't fail, but it did. This is probably going to fail. Shouldn't, because it's good, but that's not the only measure. This is free to play 2025. My guess is this will be out the first couple of months, but I don't know. Addie Pie says, why would anyone play this? It looks meh. I only played it out of curiosity. There was nothing they ever showed that made me say, I can't wait to play Towerborn. It was because I do a streaming show, aka this, and it's a first-party Microsoft-funded title, and it's been in development for a long time, and people like Kevin who have played it said it's really good. And the developer's really good. They've made these great turn-based RPGs called the Banner Saga 1, 2, and 3, which are much beloved cold hits. So there's a lot of reasons I wanted to play it, and I still really like it, but I just don't see myself going back to it. Ian says, outside of an internet connection that is directly wired, what would make the argument to sub to GeForce Now? I feel like outside to access to better graphics, you don't have to pay for. I mean, you need to do a test. Even, my kid will play Fortnite multiplayer on Wi-Fi, and he says, oh, it's fine. But I mean, he's not as, discerning an audience as you guys probably are. But, the real boss says, is this game Towerborn a result of mismanagement, or are the developers milking the cow that is Microsoft? I have no idea. I certainly can see Microsoft going, we need inexpensive games that have addictive game loops that are can make us a lot of money, right? I mean, they're spreading their bets out in a great way. But where I think somebody should have stepped in, though, is said, okay, but your core game here is really compelling and fun, but the people who really like kind of Streets of Ragey kind of games, or this kind of moment-to-moment gameplay, they certainly are not cell phone gamers for the most part. They have cell phones, but they're not going to play these games there if they have a choice. And there's not enough going on that's different. If you buy the new Ninja Turtles, Rita Repulsa, whatever it's called, coming out pretty soon, every level is a gimmick. It's new. It's different. It's like the last Ninja Turtle game or Streets of Rage 4. I don't see this kind of game loop making any sense with the moment-to-moment gameplay. So I do think somebody at Microsoft should have been like, okay, we love this developer. We love the meta of what they're trying to create for us, but the actual where the rubber meets the road with the moment-to-moment action feels like a mismatch. But, we'll see. Maybe it'll be the next big hit. Bulbo says, Jaffe, will GTA 6 be on GeForce Now, or will that stress the servers? I imagine once it comes to PC, it will. Although to be fair, I've been holding off on playing Red Dead 2, which I've never played because I'm waiting for it on GeForce Now because I want to play it on the best. Okay, now listen, my dearest delightful friends. I want to show you. Let's talk about PlayStation 5 Pro for a second, though. So I was watching this. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. Ravno says Towerborn looked very bland and slow. It really, when it's free to play, try it. I don't recommend buying it for $23. All you get is some cosmetic shit, and you get to play it early. And there's plenty to play right now. But it's kind of almost like Streets of Rage 4, but not as good as Streets of Rage 4 meets Hades. Although it's not a rogue. But it's got kind of that meta, you return to sort of your main hub, and there's a place to power up, and there's a place to train, and they all have characters, and there's missions and job boards and all this shit. So it's good, and it gets even better. It's not a bad Dragon's Crown, no. It actually gets better as you get more gear because you get more powerful and do cooler moves. It's a good game. It just doesn't seem to have a place in the market, is what I would say. So I'm watching this PS5 Pro. This is CNET going hands-on with it. And I just want to show you the weirdest thing. Now, I get that I am not streaming. Maybe I'm not even streaming at 1080p. I don't even fucking know. Sometimes I download my videos from YouTube and they say 720p. I don't fucking know. But what I'll tell you is, so I'm not asking you to judge the visual quality. Okay, but I want to just show you this clip. This is the CNET guy, and he's talked about it, and this is him going hands-on. Now, maybe you guys can tell, even watching this on your phone, but I sure as fuck couldn't tell. Watch this.
Out the PlayStation 5 Pro on a bunch of games in 2 different setups. The first one got...
Okay, so they don't let him, for some reason, show the PS5 Pro a lot. Like, it's almost like he's like, okay, you can show about 8 seconds of gameplay for your 7-minute video. That's it. It's really strange. But I ask you to tell me which one of these, at least from a video, looks like the PS5 Pro. My answer was, I'll tell you my answer. Well, you guys tell me your answer. Which one of these do you think? Do you think top is PS5 Pro or bottom is PS5 Pro? Now, again, this is not a Digital Foundry test. There's a lot of reasons the Pro could be either that you're not going to see in a still shot. Okay, so Ravnos thinks it's the top. Real Boss says the bottom. Kevin says bottom. Bukaki says bottom. Nawdog says top. Yeah, so it's 50-50-ish. I said bottom as well. Fenta says bottom. It's the top, right? And again, yeah, I think the bottom looks more vibrant and colorful, but that doesn't mean it's the Pro. But check it out. So yeah, it's the top one that is the Pro. But again, that doesn't mean anything. I don't mean that like, see, it's crap. I don't mean that at all. I agree, Zack. It's something, in fact, it is something you have to see in person. And I mean, to an extent, but this is the trick. This is the trick. Right. Toxmod says, if you can't tell, it doesn't matter. Back in the day, I know a lot of you guys aren't that young, but back in the day, there were a lot more of these box stores. Circuit City, you could go to Sears. Best Buy is still around, but it's not what it used to be. But that's one of the things they would do, right? They would take, and this is how we always combated it. They would take a brilliant, expensive television, and they would put it next to a really good television, but it wasn't as expensive or really good. And so it would make you want the really good one, even though the one next to it was more than what you needed. So what you have to do is you got to turn off the TVs next to the ones you might be interested in so you don't have that comparison, because no one's going to play this way, right? But still, yeah, Vitaphone says CNET shot the video in 24 frames per second to show off something that has high frame rate. Right. I'm just talking about their video made me feel that way. But I mean, again, Cerny's presentation was enough to make me go, I did not walk out of that. I didn't turn off my YouTube stream of Cerny's presentation and go, oh, that's nothing. I was like, oh no, that looks really fucking good. it's clearly an update. It's clearly, and I'm watching it on a 1080p television that's not even calibrated for it. So there's no doubt if you watch Cerny's presentation that you're like, okay, yeah, that's impressive. That's nice looking. It is. I am not a PS5 Pro hater at all. I just know that it has a lot of people divided. It has a lot of people, kind of annoyed. And I don't know. I mean, this is the only reason I would be annoyed is if my PS5 doesn't run the games well that continue to come out for the PS5, and it's clear that it's like, dude, you're really trying to play GTA 6 on your PS5. Don't be an idiot. Then I'd be like, okay, well, fuck you, Sony. If you and I don't think Sony's going to do that. It's ridiculous. The PS5 Pro is estimated to sell 15 million copies. The PS4 Pro sold 14 million. That is not the lion's share of their audience, and I don't think they're going to put shit on the PS5 just because the Pro is out there. But I don't have any interest in it because for me, it doesn't really give me... I already have that. Like somebody said, well, Jaffe, if you're paying $20 a month for GeForce Now, you will have paid off your PS5 in, 20... So I pay $240 a month for GeForce Now, a year, sorry, right? 20 times 12. So in 2 years, I will have spent $480. In 3 years, I will have spent about 2.5, 3 years it'll take me to spend the same it would for a PS5 Pro. But in those years, at least every year, if not more, I will have gotten updates and refreshes that I don't have to do any work for. So that's pretty cool. Pedro says, I thought the 75% choosing performance mode was interesting over fidelity. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. I agree. I thought that was real. I actually loved hearing that because so many people focus as I understand why, because it's easier to market on the visuals. But ultimately, when everybody steps up and wants to play, they choose what plays better. I loved hearing that. Absolutely. That if you don't know what he's talking about in Cerny's presentation, they were like, our data shows when we gave people the PS5 performance mode or fidelity mode, 75% chose gameplay mode, whatever, fidelity mode, right? I don't know what they call it anymore. This is interesting, though. So I got this from AKA Dat Boy on our Twitter. He says, talk about why console makers give devs a performance budget for how they can actually achieve 4K 60 frames, but they ignore it and make a game running at 30 upscaled. I mean, does anybody want to take a guess? Isn't it obvious? It's obvious because people lose their shit over visuals, and we're a visual species, and it is a visual medium when you have to sell it, not when you have to play it, but to sell it, you have to sell it like a movie. And so a lot of times people are like, well, we can make it look a lot better. And most people would love 60 frames, but they're good at 30, at least when they buy the game, So that's why Dat Boy is because fundamentally it's marketing, is what it is. So they have made us conditioned to expect a bunch of new shit, says Hawkins. We got very little, 45% more GPU, and that's it basically. Well, okay, I would disagree with that. I mean, if you're saying they've conditioned you as they move from the normal to the Pro, my understanding is the PS4 to the PS4 Pro was not as big of a jump. So you actually, if you're conditioned for this tactic, you would go, oh, they're conditioning you to expect more each generation because the 5 to the 5 Pro is actually more significant. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the case, isn't it? By the way, Blue Gamer, member for 33 months. Thank you, good sir. He says, I'm curious to see if Blop 6, Call of Duty, helps move Game Pass or PS5 Pro more. What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't think the number of people who were... I think Blop 6 is going to move Game Pass more. I don't know if those people will stick around, but they might. I mean, if they can get Game Pass for $20 and they can buy an Xbox, and Xbox comes out this Christmas and Maybe they drop the price and they also throw in 3 months of Game Pass for free, and then they just get used to having it. My guess is it's going to prevent people from churning, but I don't think that many people who are, I mean, most people in this audience don't give a rat's ass about Call of Duty at all, right? I think core gamers poo-poo a bunch of things like that, and Call of Duty is one of them. So no, I don't think you're going to see much needle moving for the PS5 Pro. I think GTA 6 will move it 100%. I think Wolverine will move it 100%. I think a new Ghost Tsushima, which they might announce this September, next week or the week after, is the rumor that they're going to put on some kind of state of play. That'll move it, but I don't see Blops doing it. No. Lutron, that is insanely generous, buddy. Lutron has upgraded his membership to the Gods of War. Don't ask me why, because there's really nothing you get there, but I will advertise and shill your shit. We're going to be talking about Rotten Tanuki and Fireswap later today, but I'm very grateful for that, sir. That's a lot of money to spend. That's a lot of faith. That's a lot of generosity to throw our way, and I appreciate that, buddy. That's insanely generous. Thank you, Lutron. Everybody tell Lutron that he is the bee's knees. Tell him to take his pantyhose down, and if you're into such things, you can pleasure him with your psychic powers that I have gifted to you all, but they wear off in 20 minutes. Lutron, I'm going to sing you a song. My name is Lutron, and I have a big old garage where I park a coffin and I kill people and they live in the coffin, but they don't cause they're dead. Lutron, yeah. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Listen to this. Vitaphone's been a member for 34 months. He says it's silly. Oh yeah, Lutron needs the pipe. Hang on, baby. Let me get you a little smoky moke there, buddy. It needs workshopping. Yeah, I know. Why is your ADD going nuts? There you go, buddy. That's for you, Lutron. Thank you, sir. That's the God of War pipe right there. It's a silly sell, says Vitaphone, member for 34 months. Thank you, buddy. To buy a mid-gen refresh when most games this gen are last gen, XS gen compatible. I don't know about that. I know you meant my pipe. Where do you think I was going? He's like, I meant your pipe, Jaffe. What do you think? I was taking my pants off? I was getting my pipe, you idiot. But yeah, anyway, Lutron, the thing is, though, there are those people out there, and maybe there's only 14 to 17 million, and maybe Sony's like, hey, $700 times 17 million, we can use that money. You know, they love this shit. And maybe it's also, maybe the other thing they found, I'm just guessing, I don't know this, but going from PS4 to PS4 Pro, maybe that actually made the R&D cheaper to get to PS5. So maybe they're like, well, we make a nice tidy profit on it. We make the hardcore fans happy, although in this case they've pissed off a lot of people, but they're people pissed about everything these days. And we've gotten a little bit of stuff road tested, like this AI upscaling that sounds really interesting before the PS6 comes out. So I don't know, but I hear you. Stephen Hawking says, I fucking hate these Trump ads. It shit pissed me off so bad. You mean when you're watching this show? I turn on ads for people. And if you don't have YouTube Premium, they play. Trust me, if they said to me, Jaffe, you can choose the ads, in a heartbeat, I wouldn't be running Trump ads. But again, vote for who you want to vote for. Bukaki's, I don't know why you're a member. You don't need to be a member. You're a mod here, man. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Here's what he says. Why is every poo-poo a pee-pee? Why is every poo-poo a pee-pee, but not every pee-pee is a poo-poo? Listen, let me tell you something, Bukaki. Yesterday, me and my ex-wife and my son went to, and this is going to relate to what you said, but you're like, why are you ignoring my question, idiot? Just listen, fuck. We went to the Birch Aquarium here in San Diego. And we kept coming back to the one octopus they have, but he was kind of crunched into the corner the whole day, stuck to the glass. He didn't want anybody to see any. He's like, fuck you people. I hate you all. But we stayed there till they were about to close. And I'm glad we did, because as we came around the corner to check on him one more time, he had begun to move out. My Ritalin's wearing off, so my face tics are getting worse. He had begun to move out from the glass, and he was suctioning his way across the glass. And we're like, oh, he likes coming out when there's not a lot of people. No, that's not what it was. He came out because he had to take a shit. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen an octopus take a shit. You probably haven't. But at first we're like, what the fuck is going on? Because the octopus has like this big bulbous thing and there's its eyes. And I'm not saying that's its brain, but it looks like the brain, right? And the shit comes out of a little spigot. Maybe that's where the ink comes out too. That looks like it's coming out of his ear. And it's not logs of poo. It's this long silly string that just flies through the tank, and it's viscous and thick and at the same time, and it's just, and we're like, what the fuck is it bleeding out? What is happening? And the lady's like, no, he's defecating. So he did come out to show himself, and we saw him poop. I thought you would like that story, Bukaki. Addy Pie's been a member for 16 months. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Give me my damn fortune cookie. No, you've already been a member. Also, Sean Layden is increasingly seen as PlayStation's savior with every passing day. To hell with Herman Holst and Rotten Tatuki. That's a different guy. No on the fortune cookie. You missed that deal. Sorry. Sean Layden. Look, I think Layden being back at PlayStation would be great. I don't know if they're interested. I don't think. I just don't know. I don't know yet. If you really want to play the blame game about Sony, or PlayStation, I don't know the timeline of who you get to blame. Right? Is Astrobot selling well but not super well a Herman Holst joint or a Jim Ryan joint? I mean, a lot of this stuff he may have inherited, so we may not have had the time yet to sort of see his, the only thing you could blame him on at this point is going, dude, you should have had the foresight to look at Concord and demand some conceptual changes in the characters and also said, $40, go fuck yourself. Or at least put it on PS Plus. Like there should have, you can kind of blame Holst for that, even though he didn't greenlight it, because it's this is the team you inherited, and you could have made those decisions. But short of that, I don't know what you want to lay at his feet yet. But I'd love to see Sean back. I think he got it. He really gets it. Okay, thank you, Lutron. I appreciate it, buddy. Okay. Okay. Where did it go? I'm a mailman in election season. This is David talking. Is the worst with political ads. Everyone throws them away. It's the dumbest fucking thing. It's the dumbest fucking thing, dude. Don't ask me why that shit's still legal. It costs, how much money does it cost to print that shit? Do I think Astrobot had adequate marketing? Not yet. But I do think if they're going to market it, they wouldn't be doing it right now. They're probably going to wait and blow their wad at the holidays, is what I would say. But we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, yeah, people seem upset. They seem upset about the $700 price point. Think about what you're saying. The PS5 is currently $500. The PS5 Pro is only $200 more, and it gives you a pretty good, you're getting a good kick. You're getting a good jump. What's the problem? I mean, the problem might be that you want it, and that's a lot of money to drop. I get that. But, I don't know, just don't buy it, But I certainly won't buy it. But I don't know. Here's what I'd like to know from the chat before we move on to the next topic. But why are people so mad about this? People are like attacking poor Gene Park about his views on it, and I just don't understand. Like, it's a fucking piece of hardware. If you don't like it, don't fucking buy it. We'll get to Astrobot in a little bit, just a minute. Hey, Jay Styles, how are you, sir? I am going to Jay Styles. Would you like a song or a fortune cookie from Miss Fortune's nasty fortune cookies in the back? If you get the fortune, it will come true 80% of the time. But if you get the song, it will live in your brain for at least a year and delight you. but I don't really care what you choose. But as a brand new member of the Diet Soda Soldiers, good sir, you get to make a choice. What would you like? Bukaki says, I just saw a clip of Gene at the Last Stand Media Live thing. He wasn't at this one. That was the one I think that was in New York, I believe. Wayne B says, because people are upset about it because it's expensive and consoles are not meant to be expensive. But don't you think $500 is expensive? I mean, do you think that's once you go past that? Like, I mean, did you really expect the PS5 Pro to be $550 when the PS5 is only $500? I don't understand. That's a good point, Stephen. Well, that's a really, really great point. Stephen Hawking says, do you think if GTA 6 and Last of Us Part 3 showed up with the Pro, people wouldn't be this upset? They didn't have to show anything with the last one, the last PS4 Pro. But you're absolutely right. And the thing that I can't get my head around is it's running. They showed one shot of the only game that was new, which was Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I'm like, why didn't you give a demo of that? Why didn't you show a video of that? What are you talking about? That you actually have a real game that a lot of people are excited by that looks, whether you like the wokeness of it, which is ridiculous or not, it looks really good. It's a beautiful looking game. Why didn't you show like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds of gameplay? I have no idea. I have no idea why they, I don't know. Rocker Matt says it is too expensive without getting a disk drive and a stand. It's because it can set a precedent going forward to what's acceptable for console manufacturers to change. The days of $1,000 could be coming. Well, I guess, but I mean, at that point, buy a PC. You're going to like it better anyway. But I don't think the consoles that survive, the fact that Xbox, unless they make just a handheld, maybe it'll plug into the TV. I don't know. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I'm sorry to be the canary in the coal mine, but those days are over anyway. Bukaki says people are upset because if you pay for a PS5 Pro, you're seen as part of the problem. The problem being the upgrade being unnecessary and the lack of first-party software. At least that's what I think. Okay, I guess that's fair. But the thing I don't get is why are PC people mad at all? I'm not mad. I'm a PC person. I mean, that's why I'm not going to buy one, because I have a PC and it already does all the stuff that does for the most part. I mean, there's specifics, but here's I want to, and I will get Rocker Matt. Thank you for subscribing, buddy. I will get your fortune in just a minute. I want to show you something though. No, I know you mean on Twitter. I mean, I don't fucking know. But I need to show you the writing on the wall. Because okay, I'm going to show you two things. All right, really quick. Call of Duty Season 6 comes out next week. What does that have to do with anything, Jaffe? It has everything to do with everything. Which is, this is how I visualize it, which makes no sense, but it's how I visualize it. Because I was there when we were making cartridges for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, okay? And to sell 100,000 copies of a video game worldwide was the dream. And listen to what I'm saying. We are now in the days where you need to sell many millions in the first week of a AAA game or you're seen as a flop. Worldwide at full price, before you drop price, if you could get to 100,000, you were a goddamn rock star, okay? And so there were all of these passionate fans of this very small but growing and beloved hobby. Well, not very small, but, it wasn't anywhere close to what it was today, okay? And Sony came in and the technology got better, easier, whatever, and it exploded. I'm not telling you what you don't know yet, but there's a part maybe you haven't thought about, which has to do with what you're looking at on the screen here. And gaming exploded to what it was a couple of years ago. Okay. And you suddenly had all of these people, many hundreds of millions of people playing, loving, spending money, falling in love with the medium. But all of the hardcore people like me and you, I don't mean hardcore like you're really like an esport guy, but you just love the medium, you love the art form, you love the business, you love the history, whatever. All of us, though, we rose with them, and then we went kind of back to where we were with our expectations. But our expectations had been redefined because as long as the audience kept growing, more money kept getting spent, and we got to play with all these cool-looking toys and games, right? Well, look at this now. Call of Duty, one of the most popular games in the world, okay? I love Call of Duty. I love the new one coming out. The beta was great. I actually love this one, 3. I'm very excited about this update. Every 6 weeks, every 6 fucking weeks, you're getting new levels. You're getting cool new skins. You're getting cool weapons, cool modes, right? That is what the normies are doing now, right? This is what the normies are doing now. And I love Fortnite. IGN just re-reviewed Fortnite and gave it a 9 out of 10. They said it's changed so much, we're going to re-review it. It's still a 9 out of 10, right? Now again, Fortnite doesn't look all cartoony like all of these. A lot of things are looking more real because you're doing it in what's called Unreal 5 now. But these are just fan-made games. Then at the top, you've got the Epic-made games in Fortnite. This is what people are playing. It's easy. The barrier of entry is super tiny. And I'm not bringing this up because you don't know this. I'm bringing it up because ultimately, we as core gamers, we're not going to compete against this. This is why you've got to come to Jesus and accept the fact that if you were a kid coming up with PS1 through 4 or even 5, you got to be at the fucking head of the table. Everything was made for you. And now it doesn't make sense to make shit for you anymore at that budget, at that level. And I'm okay with it because you got to be in love with the medium, with the art form, not the graphics, because that's where a lot of the cost is, right? But I mean, seriously, ask yourself this. Like, look at this. I mean, if you're an average casual gamer and you play this with your buddies and it's fun, other than buying the game or getting Game Pass, why would you buy anything else? Do you really want to go play Astrobot? Right? Every couple of weeks, you're getting new shit, new maps, new modes, new levels, reskins of old levels. You're able to go to Fortnite. My son the other day, only money he spends on video games, I bought him the Battle Pass for this season. Right? He's not asking for Astrobot or anything else. Right? Look at all the fucking games you get. Every day there's 20 new games to fucking play. So who's white knighting, Twisted Sith? What are you talking about? I get it, PK99. You said he says I don't want to play the same game for 10 years. Yep, I don't either. But you and I are not the majority anymore. We are not the drivers of the AAA market anymore. And we shouldn't be, because it costs a lot of money, and this is where people are spending their fucking money. Is what I'm saying. And this guy, Smash Brother creator Sakurai, here's what he said. This should scare you even more about the future of consoles. He says this. He says, the director reckons that phone screens are the biggest threat to people's free time because there's virtually no barrier to entry. You can't... this is not a gloom and doom cast, by the way. I love video games. Video games right now are better than they have ever been. We are in a gold rush of excellent games right now. You just have to know where to look. You can just whip out, he says, you can't just whip out your console in a supermarket queue. You need to be able to focus while playing, and games can take up significantly more time. So he says a game's appeal needs to overcome those barriers, right? All he's doing is saying this is why the worm is turning, okay? And I think it's important as it relates to Astrobot. I think it's important as it relates to console, PS5 Pro, right? Because it does tell you where the market is going. And so, I don't know. Like I said at the top of the show, get a fucking PC, man, when you can afford it. If you love the medium, get it. Japan sales charts, Astrobot barely registers at retail. PS5 numbers plummet after a price hike. This is not an anti-Sony stream. I know you guys think it is, but frankly, they're the only console maker left. What else are we going to talk about? Obviously the Switch, but they haven't announced it yet. I love Astrobot. I do not think Astrobot is Game of the Year contender. I think it's Game Design of the Year contender. I think it's fucking delightful. It's excellent. And I'm bothered that it didn't sell, because there should be enough adults now that have children that they wanted to go out and get this to play with their family. And some people do. I have one guy who wrote me and said, that's exactly what we're doing. He says, I have a save file, my son has a save file, and my daughter has a save file. And we just share the game and we're all helping each other go through it. That's the shit. That's awesome. But yeah, Real Boss says not at $70 though. That's another thing. Some point, and I get it because the cost went too high. At some point though, the $70 price point has done more harm than good. Because, and I don't know if I think this is 50 or this is 60. Yeah. But I'm not saying that's why this didn't sell, but games are so expensive, even though I understand the value they bring as a single one-shot purchase, $70 for a lot of these games. I get why people are like, seriously, forget consoles for a minute. $70, $40, but $70 or, I could spend that, or I could just play more Call of Duty because look at all the new shit they got coming. Oh, I could play that, but my friends are in Fortnite. Fuck it, I'll play Fortnite. Right? The days are long gone for the average American family, Jaffe. Kids are on their phones and tablets, right? That's another thing, though. You're saying that's the reason the parents couldn't bring their kids around the TV to play Astrobot. That could be the case as well, for sure. But yeah, it's this guy who's looking at the data from the UK, he says at first he said it was soft because he was kind of putting the digital and the physical together, but then he did want to come out and clarify. He says, to clarify Astrobot, this is Christopher Dring from Head of Games Industry Biz. He says, clarify Astrobot's UK sales are good. This isn't the sort of game that would ever do mega week one figures. These games often sell over time. To offer some comparison, Astrobot's week one in the UK is bigger than Sonic Frontiers and Crash 4's debut, and those were multi-platform. Right. And again, I do think this is going to be a game that does sell over the holidays. It's going to be beloved. It is absolutely worth it. But, I think it's like I said earlier, we're seeing the writing on the wall all over the place. Astrobot, that they can't push more units of that game it's not ridiculous because it's happening, but it's ridiculous if you look through it with a filter of our past as gamers. The fact that $700 is a console that is being sold, even though you can justify it and it looks like a great product, it's still like, it feels like the industry that we know, that we all came up with working in and playing, it can't sustain the kind of experiences anymore that it was. And also, Ravno says it's not surprising. PS Plus is why. That's another great point. You guys know I adore Game Pass. I killed my PS Plus subscription, but I'm going to get it back for Plucky Squire. But yeah, you buy a fucking console. Look at all the fucking games you can play for quote free. $70 is dirt cheap compared to the $160 when we were kids. I don't know about that, Stephen Hawkins. I don't know anybody who paid $160 for a video game in America when they were kids. I get that the Nintendo games were more, but again, I for whatever reason, that seemed to go down okay. It's not going down okay now. But I agree with Ravnos on the subscription services, which I love. Yeah, why in the world? It's like, okay, you want me to spend $60 on a new game when I just got you a PS5 and PS Pro? You've got like 100 games to play. Play that. I get that. Real Boss Moss says the sweet spot was during PS2 and Xbox days. $50 for a long time. $20 greatest hits. Absolutely. But listen though, man, this is why I'm imploring you. Look, I don't need you to buy indie games. I'm not an indie game developer. Okay. I'm trying to connect with you in a way, not if I get it. If you're one of these guys that's like, dude, I want my big screen TV. I get it. I'm not talking to you. But I'm trying to connect with you in a way to suggest that the stuff you're talking about, Real Boss Mod, the PS2 days, the Xbox 360 days, those days exist. They exist to some degree on console if you just shop the indie stuff, right? Let me show you this. I haven't played this. This just came out. There's a game on Steam, and I haven't played it yet. I'm not advocating it or for it. I don't know if it's good or not. But maybe it's in my cart. It's called Hollow something. This is the kind of stuff you're talking about. Hollow Body. It's a $15 game. It just came out. It is a survival horror cyberpunk game set in urban decay of a long abandoned city in Britain. Environmental puzzles, limited resources, and fight to escape, right? And again, I'm not saying you're going to love these graphics because if you're an aficionado, if you're a videophile, it's not for you. But if you just love those days of playing all kinds of weird shit, different shit, people are comparing this who have played it to Silent Hill. It'll cost you about $20. This exists. This will probably, how many of you guys didn't play Crow County is what it was called? The Resident Evil ripoff, which was really good. But people just ignore this shit and act like this is somehow lesser. But this is where people are making the magic right now, man. Victory, buddy, thank you for the super chat. $10, very generous. I appreciate it, man. Let me see what he's got to say. Victory says, Jaffe, thank you for pointing out that Pro is only $200 more than the base. What did they expect the price to be? The same price as 2 terabyte Xbox Series X with no enhancements? Yeah, again, I think it's just the sticker shock. I think if you're a $500 owner of a PS5, you're in that ecosystem, you're in that fandom, and you kind of expect every announcement to be geared towards you. But I think if you already have a PS5, it's asking a lot to jump to a PS5 Pro. Literally, it's asking $700 more. Whereas I think, yeah, if you don't have a PS5 or you're looking to upgrade, it's, for all you get, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And it's only $200 more. I agree. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Okay. I'm looking at the chat. Vitaphone says I played most of my NES Genesis games by renting them from the store. Only the rich kids had all the games, right? And you can pretty much do that now on the subscription services. Hawking says we rented 2 because adjusted for inflation. Oh, it's 160 versus 70. I don't know what to tell you, man. What I can tell you is when I was a kid or a teenager buying video games, I never felt like games were the equivalent of $160. It never felt that way. $70 feels like a lot now to go buy a video game. I'll give you an example. Somebody earlier was asking, well, Jaffe, are you going to play Lollipop Chainsaw? And I'm like, not right now. It's a $45 game. It's a $45 game that's about 4 hours long. And apparently it's got a lot of bugs. Why would I pay that? Why would they make that game and assume anyone is going to pay that? Sell it for $20 and maybe don't sell it at the holiday season. Then okay, maybe. But you know what? What are you talking about? I don't get it. Okay. Now you're paying $70, but you don't get the box, the disc, and no cool manual. Yeah, that's true as well, Joker. That sucks. Totally sucks. Yeah, Stephen Hawking says Game Pass and GeForce and this and that for cheaper. It's like renting. Absolutely. One of the reasons I like it. But anyway, but what I'm saying is Steam and itch.io and even the PlayStation and Xbox and especially the Nintendo Switch store are filled with these games. My guess is a lot of the people that complain about, I wish it was like it was back when I was a kid. It is. They're just not looking in the right place because they're turned off by the visuals, which I get. I appreciate that. But, you know, if you really love music, you're not going to get the production value of a Taylor Swift concert. But you are going to get some amazing music. But you probably have to listen to it at a tiny hole-in-the-wall venue. But it's going to be music that if you're an aficionado of music and the art form, you're going to go, I don't care about any of that compared to how meaningful the lyrics are or how rich and marbled the actual musicianship is of the band. Every other industry fandom seems to have been okay with that shift. Independent movies, if you want a really interesting movie, you're probably not going to get the big budget. Every now and then, but not usually. If you want really good music, you're going to have to go searching for it, and they're not going to be playing, at the fucking Hollywood Bowl. You want really interesting comic books, they're probably not coming from Marvel. Why do you think games struggle so much? Gamer fandom struggles so much to bring the people who say they love the medium into that fold. And to get them to transition and say, hey, your love of this shit is still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just, you got to, drive a little bit to get to it now. I don't know. All right. If the casual consumer, says Ravnos, realize these services are the way to go, kiss 1% of the industry goodbye. We have already lost 10% of the jobs. Yeah. But again, this game you just saw was made by one person that I just showed you. Great. One guy made this game. One guy made this game. Come on now. What are we doing? Grasshopper CEO Suda51 says people care too much about Metacritic scores. Yeah, because the games are $70. Or if you listen to, was it Ravnos? They're 160. I know, or I adjust it for inflation. I'm not saying he's wrong. But yeah, I mean, first off, people care about scores in general in anything these days. But, look, I'm caring about the Lollipop Chainsaw scores. Sorry, Suda, but when you put out a game that cost $45 because he worked on that too, didn't he work on that too? Was Lollipop also Suda 51? I think it was. But again, there are a lot of great games that are 5s and 6s and 7s. But to act like people care about Metacritic, I'm like, well, yeah, because it helps you decide if you want to drop 70 fucking bucks. Don't sell Lollipop Chainsaw, sell it for $19. Maybe it'll be more of an impulse buy. Indies who can self-publish and live service will remain, says Ravnos. Nintendo, because Nintendo fans are loyal and buy games. Well, that's because they have no other choice, though. What are they going to? There's no real service until the games have been out previous generation. No, I do know. Stephen Hawking says Jaffe didn't get the Astrobot physical, but he probably doesn't know about the poster. Yeah, no, there's a beautiful physical poster in Astrobot, which also doubles as the manual. I don't agree, Ravnos. Metacritic exists for investors and console warriors. I think that's like saying Rotten Tomatoes exists for investors and only hardcore movie fans. Look, my son and my ex, I watch a lot of movies with these guys. Neither of them love movies like I do. It's just not in their makeup. And they're asking me, I'm like, hey, let's watch Twisters. Well, what's the Metacritic? Right? Because people don't have a lot of time, like Sakurai was saying, and shit's expensive. He said people are making games based on what the critics would like instead of making an original game. The critics love Astrobot. Be a little more specific, PK. I mean, why would you ever take a random person's word on the internet if a game is good or not? Because Twisted Sith, that's why Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, as bad as they can be, are so great. Because it's aggregate. You're not taking one random person. You're taking a lot of people that have come together, and the consensus is like, hey, this is pretty good. It doesn't mean, poll the chat, says Ravnos, do you only buy games if the Metacritic is at a certain score? My guess would be that's very few people. But I think a better question would be is, do you take the Metacritic score into account before you buy a game? Are you telling me the people who bought Astrobot, you would have bought it if it would have gotten a 4? Why didn't you buy Concord then? Concord, got decent reviews. You didn't buy it. So maybe, well, I guess that's the opposite. That's proving not my point. But why didn't you buy Astrobot then? Why didn't the world buy Astrobot then? See, I don't agree with that. The real Boss Moss says, nah, if it looks cool to me personally, I'll go for it. There's a lot of things but that's the problem. They're games, man. Just because something looks cool, like I think Lollipop Chainsaw looks cool. I've never played it before, but you're telling me you would go drop $70 on a game just because it looks cool? I mean, I'm not a super wealthy guy, but I'm well off enough that I don't feel bad if I make a bad purchase on a video game, but even I won't do that because it's a waste of money. I don't understand that. Carlos says, I did not buy Star Wars when I saw it was in the 70s. Right. I mean, I think that's a very valid thing to ask, to expect. Shit's expensive. I bought Saints Row 2, Ravnos. The question is not only Metacritic. The question is, does it play a part in your decision making? Hawking says, Jaffe, I'm going to play Outlaws even with my horrendous autism and ADD because you recommended it, even if everyone's saying even if everyone's saying it's hot trash. Anybody who says that game is hot trash is just looking for clicks or dogpiling. If you love Star Wars or you loved Star Wars of the 70s and 80s, I can't speak to the prequels. Although I did love Revenge, was a great movie, comparatively speaking to the other two. But there's nothing about that game that's hot trash. People are idiots. People are assholes and idiots, and they're just dumb. Play the fucking game. Or don't. Or get it for $18. That's what I did. I'm renting it. I don't want to own it. I don't need to own it. Vitaphone, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, here's some context. The Xbox One X was $500. And the Xbox One X, help me out here. Okay, that was the one that was TV. That was $500. And the Xbox One and One S had dropped. Okay, the Xbox Series X is $500. The One and the One S are the old ones, right? Or was the One X? Oh, fuck there. Oh, my God. Are you telling me the Xbox One X was $500, which was the Xbox One Pro? And when they went to the Xbox One Pro, the Xbox One and Xbox One S dropped price. Mid-gen refresh was needed as console powers were hitting max level. Yeah, and a price drop was also needed, right? I think that's a bigger part too. I understand now. I understand. Yeah, the naming is fucking confusing. I gotcha. Twisted, that's a good point though. He says, this has been a crazy few weeks for the medium. I think we're all a bit shell-shocked. Concord DOA, Outlaws is a broken mess. No, it's not. Astrobot is overhyped and overpriced. I agree. The PS5 Pro. Yeah, I agree. I agree. This is what I'm telling you guys, man. We are in a brilliant time for the medium. We will look back and say, my God, people were making any and everything they wanted to make, whether it was big ticket shit for the most part, depending on who if you're talking Sony, or one-man band games, and people just aren't seeing it. I'm bothered by that. I'm bothered by that because there's so much good stuff out there. Astro looks overhyped. What I'll say about Astrobot, Wayne, is the same thing I'll say about Star Wars. Star Wars Outlaws and Astrobot are drastically better, drastically improved if you are into the fandom, right? I can't imagine. Look at this. I'm just going to show you this. Give me a brief moment, but look at this fucking thing. Like, I was an Atari kid. I still have great affection for Atari. I just adore it. Because of nostalgia. Okay. Well, Atari put out this game and I haven't even bought it because they say it's just terrible, but it's a game that basically takes you through the history. It's kind of like Astrobot, but it's kind of, I don't even know what kind of game it is because I hear it's just terrible. But it takes you through the history of all the Atari. And I don't mean the thing that they made the documentary. It's a game about a little character that goes through all the games of the Atari 2600. Okay. And I'm just like, Atari Mania is what it's called. Here it is. A wild journey through video game history. Atari Mania is a micro game collection wrapped in a hilarious retro-driven narrative of exploration and surprise. How could I not lose my shit over this? Right? There's Pong. There's Gauntlet. Right? But it's got shitty reviews, so I stayed away. But I understand. There's Centipede Remix, right? So if you are a kid or a teenager that came up with PlayStation, Astrobot has to be 4 extra points in your own personal review. Just like I would say Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws, if you love the 70s and 80s George Lucas Star Wars, and that's your core Star Wars, you're going to fucking love it. It's a delight. I can't speak to anyone else. So, but if you just extract Astrobot and you look at it as its own thing, I would agree it's overhyped. Like, as a straight up game, it's really good. It plays well. It controls well. It's got some great kind of meta things to chase that it's almost like a Russian nesting doll that keeps, revealing new things to unlock based on how well you play. It's fucking awesome. But if you're not into the lore and the history, yeah, I could see it being overhyped. Listen now. Z-Trigger has stepped up. Z-Trigger. You know what? We're going to take a break in just a second. Not a break, but I'm going to give you your fortune cookies. Z-Trigger, you're going to get a fortune cookie as well from Miss Fortune's Cookies. These fortunes are 80% accurate, so be careful. We also got Jay Styles coming up. He's getting one as well. But in the meantime, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you being here, and please never, ever fucking forget. I'd love to get like a sex worker who's a gamer. It's totally true, Z-Trigger. Thank you, buddy, for that support. And then we got Victory for the super chat. Thanks, man. He says, here's some more context, Jaffe. The current global economy is horrendous and inflation. The economy is clearly not one-to-one. The economy is clearly not a one-to-one to back then. Yeah, there's truth there. But, I mean, things are really, they're not expensive for everyone. Some people, though, a lot of people, though, are having a horrible time right now. And that certainly is not helping. There's no doubt. I hear you, Victory. That's true. Okay. Z-Trigger is saying, where did Z-Trigger go? He was talking to, he says, the worst thing that ever happened to gaming was gamers thinking they understood game design. Now people aren't looking for fun. They're looking at a game made the way they would make one. Yeah, but I mean, I hear you, but isn't that the sign of a healthy medium? I mean, how many times do you go to a movie and you come out and talk to your friends about how shitty it was and I would have done this, or I loved it, but the ending made no sense. It should have been this. I mean, that's just an engaged audience, right? I think maybe the worst thing to ever happen to video gaming in a lot of ways was the internet, because it gave so much voice, it gave so much voice to these people that were always there, that it just feels worse than maybe it's ever been, but maybe it's just the same. I mean, I was stunned to read a letter from the Star Wars fan club from 1981 that came out after Empire Strikes Back, which is, by most people, including me, the best Star Wars movie ever made and one of the best movies ever made. And they said, we're killing our fanzine because Empire is such a disaster. It doesn't get Star Wars. It doesn't know what Star Wars is. It totally took the magic and just fucked it up, and we're out. And I'm like looking back going, what are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? But, you know, so I don't think anything's new. I just think it's been amplified because of the internet, and we haven't evolved enough to learn how to deal with it, you know? Hawking says, I like that Astrobot is not 200 fucking hours. I agree. And hard as fuck balls. I agree. And still jerks me off, but it's not a marathon. I totally agree. Totally agree. I will tell you though that, Star Wars has brought me back. Like I know I'd like to think I'm going to finish Astrobot. I'm on the 4th world out of 5. I probably will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I will finish Star Wars unless it just shits the bed in the last couple seconds. $70 makes the developer think they've got to make it big, but it's just got to be fun in like 15 to 25 hours. I don't know, Real Boss, if that's true. Here's what I think. Video games arrived at the same place movies are so much faster than it took movies to get there. The budgets of video games going up, the inability for big budget games to take that many conceptual risk anymore because you've got to make a lot of money on those huge $250 million investments. And then what you're seeing in games in a lot of ways is you're seeing people walking away from great games like they walk away from movies unless it's a big fucking ticket movie. I don't remember, there were some good news at the box office this summer, but it's not like it used to be. You know, there's a lot of things that come out, have a good week and a half, and then it's gone. And people are like, right? Unless you've got the next big fucking thing, and it's rarely new, you know, games are there now. I mean, think about it. What world do we live in where Astrobot and Star Wars Outlaws couldn't do better than they're doing? It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Speaking of, we'll get off this topic, but I do want to show you this, though. This is the Steam charts right now. We were talking about Lollipop Chainsaw earlier. And this is out not just for Steam, but it's at 700 players right now. I mean, it's just, no one's showing up for this. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. Vitaphone says late-stage capitalism and the incessant chase of infinite growth for shareholders is the root of the garbage. Yeah, I mean, there's one thing one of the investors said recently where he was like, hey, man, to Ubisoft, he's like, you guys should be private again. You guys are always chasing this quarterly growth, and it's absolutely killing your games, and it's killing your business. And he owns less than 1% of the stock, but, you know, there's something to be said about Vitaphone, what you're saying, for sure. All right, hang on a second. I want to show you guys a couple of things. Give me a second. Let me get these fortune cookies out. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take like a 3-minute break. I got to get another Coke. I'm going to get the fortune cookies. Stick around. Come back in a few minutes. We got to get Z-Trigger, J-Styles squared away with their fortunes for the weekend. And then I want to show you, I'm going to show you some really cool stuff after the break. I'm going to show you a small game team that is doing something brilliant that Sony should copy. I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about what the members are playing this weekend. We're going to talk about Annapurna Interactive, give you a little personal insight there that I have. PlayStation Store top downloads. We're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to show you the craziest Street Fighter thing I've ever seen. I'm going to show you, my game that I worked with Bartlett Jones that was canceled, and it caused us to shut the company down. I'm going to show you footage of that. I can finally show you that footage. And then I want to show you the second coming of Twisted Metal 2, which is kind of cool. So there's a lot to go. There's a lot to talk about. I just need a couple of minutes to get a new bubbly, to get the fortune cookies out, and I'll be back. 4 minutes. No more than 5, probably 3. All right. I'll be right back. I can't help but be racist. It's true. All right. We're back. Thank you for waiting. I got some pistachios, got a cheese stick, got some orange juice. Let's create. Got the green screen up. Let me get that set up for us. Jaffe says, Bobo, you keep saying you'll stream Star Wars Outlaws, but you never do. I don't want to stream Star Wars. I don't think I keep saying I'll stream that. I like games like that let me lose myself in the world. That's not the kind of game. I'll do a review on it or a deep dive or whatever we want to call it. I'll do that. But I have zero interest in streaming that game right now because I'm vibing, that's not the kind of, like I was streaming Towerborn, or even Space Marine, which I may stream tonight or tomorrow. Those are games I think I'll stream 100%. But I don't believe I'll be streaming, what's it called? I don't believe I'll be streaming, Star Wars. Okay. Listen, Jay Styles, I don't know if you're still there. Or Z Trigger. Is it Z Trigger? Yeah, Z Trigger. Unless I know if Jay is here. I know Z is here. Z, do you want a fortune cookie? These are fortune cookies from Misfortune's Cookies. They're dirty and nasty and filthy. I got one from, this one's called the Offend Someone You Love. This is Fortunes Against Humanity. This is the Dirty Dozen. And I got the Boozy Dozen. Which would you like a fortune? And again, you have to remember, 80% guarantee, or a guarantee that there's an 80% chance this fortune will come true over the next 2 days. So which one you want, baby? That's my question. How do they win the fortune? You have to sign up to be a member on the show. A lot of you guys are already members. You joined too soon. I'll get you guys something in the future, but I can't go back and have everybody do it. Dirtier the better. All right, let's do Dirty Dozen. And Jay Styles, if you're still here, let me know. We'll get you going too. If not, we'll get you next time. All right, Dirty Dozen from Misfortune's Cookies. Thank you guys for sending these out my way. I appreciate it. I just asked them. I said, those are cool. Can I have some? And they said, sure. Here's some fucking fortune cookies, you fat fuck. God, I hope I didn't offend more Last Stand Media people by calling them fat. I'll tell you. I just can't win. I can only win by shutting up. Yes, Jaffe, that's what we've been telling you. Fuck you! All right, this goes out to our good friend Z-Trigger, who's not brand new, but his handle's brand new. He's making his own content now. I don't know what the fuck it's about, but best of luck to you. It's a hard racket. Boy, it's fun. Here you go, buddy. This is coming true. 80% chance. All right, here's the crack. All right. Oh, Jay's still here. All right, we'll get you in a second, Jay. All right, here's your fortune, sir. You will devote a full hour to doggy style when you take your poodle sweater. You will devote a full hour to doggy style when you take your poodle sweater shopping. And that's okay, but that's your fortune. So this weekend, you're going to go look for a sweater for a poodle you own, apparently. And that's doggy style. Best of luck to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Jay Styles, are you ready? Would you like a Fortunes Against Humanity, the Dirty Dozen, or Boozy Dozen? Which one you want, baby? What do you mean awkward? We want, I almost died. Okay, you want Boozy? You got it. Steven says, I almost died over you calling the one girl fat in the presentation of Horizon. Oh, yeah. That was funny too. I don't actually mean that, but people made a big deal over it, so I was just taking the piss. Okay. All right, this goes out to good Sir Jay Styles from the Boozy Dozen. Here we go, sir. 80% chance this will come true in the next 2 days. Hear the crack? You will soon meet a new lover. Also, that's pretty good. You will soon meet a new lover. Also, you will soon need a new liver. You get it? You get it? Because you're a drunk. You're a fucking drunk.
How dare you?
It's true, Jay Styles. You will soon meet a new lover, and you'll need a new liver. There you go. Thank you, Misfortunes, and thank you, Jay Styles, and thank you, good Sir Z-Trigger, for supporting the show. I appreciate it. All right. You see this story? Oh, this fucking weirdo. This guy, I never crossed paths with this guy. He was the president of Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. Pretty much when I was there. 1995 was the Twisted Metal game. Think about this for a minute. 1995 was Twisted Metal. 2005 was God of War. 2015-ish was Drawn to Death. I thought this was my shtick. Every 10 years, I dropped a new big franchise. Not to be. But anyway, this is what he says. Look, this is nuts, man. This is nuts. He's talking about all the layoffs and all this shit. Have you seen this a couple days ago? 79-year-old, what's his name? Chris Deering is his name. He used to be the president over there. He's asked about his take on the state of the games business. He says it's painful. I don't think it's greed, though. I think it's just an over-exuberance that was kindled and fueled by the knock-on effect of the pandemic and the supply chain restrictions that followed. Probably accurate. I think that's probably very painful for the managers to have to lay off these people, but he doesn't think laid-off devs are condemned to a lifetime of poverty or limitation. Here's what he says. He says, come on now, hang on. Okay. He says making video games basically is still where the action is. And it's like the pandemic, but now you're going to have to figure out how to get through it. Drive an Uber or whatever. Go off to find a cheap place to live and go to the beach for a year. But keep up with your news and keep up with it. Because once you get off the train, it's much harder to basically get back on. What the fuck? Now again, his point is well taken in the sense where it's like, baby, that's life in corporate capitalist Western society. And he's not wrong about it. And he's not wrong about, hey, you get knocked down, you get back up. Absolutely. But you could have worded it. I mean, he is 80 and he's probably rich as fuck. I don't know if that's true. But the way he expressed it was pretty shitty, I think. That's bad form. Brad, what a crock of shit. Going from six figures to driving for a living is crazy. Well, I mean, you do what you got to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You do what you got to do. But I do think, and look, I wouldn't advise anybody go make video games for big companies. You out of your mind? What a fucking horrible job. Unless you're making them by yourself or with your friends on the internet. What a horrible job to try to get people to go into now. Don't be a moron. Unless you're in it right now, okay, fine. But it's a terrible job. Terrible fucking job, at least at this level. All right, let's move forward, shall we? I want to show you this, though. Speaking of, now this is great. And this is exactly what Sony should be doing. How dare you tell? Fuck you. This is what they should be doing. These guys are Odyssey Interactive, and they've made a game before. I don't know what it was. I didn't play it. It was some Omega Strikers. Is it good? It's in my library, so I must be interested. It's got good reviews. It's not about it flopping, Addy Pie. This is my point. This is amazing. These guys have made a 40-player Battle Royale game, okay? But it's a prototype, and I'm going to play it for you real quick on stream. I want to show you this. This didn't take very long to make. It's a test. Do people like it? Are they engaged? Is it sticky enough? Sony, in their current thinking, would spend 3 fucking years on this, put it out, do a little marketing, focus testing and stuff, but they wouldn't know. You don't know anymore, right? This is the way, my friends. And it's available all weekend long. It's free if you have a computer. Again, going back to PC. You have a goddamn PC, go on to Steam, download it, see if you like it. It may never get beyond the prototype stage, which again is fine. It doesn't have to. But this is how you need to work in this environment. In this, think about Concord for a minute. They could have put out Concord looking like shit and just gone, guys, we don't know if we're ever going to make this, but try it. Give it a shot. See if it's something you want to play. And if people dig it, we'll make a real game out of it. And you spend a couple of months. Why am I shilling it? I'm shilling it because this, hang on, I got to move the screen it's on. Because this is the only way. Let me turn it down too. 1 second. You guys, I really need you to understand this. Even if you don't like this game, I don't care if you like the game. You can hate the game. But the whole point is they spent barely any money, and they're going to know by the end of the weekend if this is something they should spend another month on, or if they should can it and move on to something else. And it's a neat idea. It may not work. I'm not a big fighting game guy, but it's basically 40-player Battle Royale Super Smash Bros. Right? And it won't cost you a dime. Just play it. And what I'm saying is, A, if you love the medium, how can you not be interested in trying out a new game? But as important or more important, what do you mean, woof? It's a prototype. It's a guys, what's the matter with your fucking head? This is. Hang on, let me make the screen bigger. A woof means good? Okay, fine.
Never been a better team than this.
All right, and this is all you get. It doesn't look good. It's not meant to look good. They want to know, are they onto something here? That's it. And there's a lot to do. There's a lot of weird little mechanics. It's not just fighting. You've got some shooting. The pickups are much more involved. Here, watch this. I'm that 83%er. Oops, I messed up. Right, so there's 40 people fighting right now, and eventually it goes down to 1. I don't know what that does. That might just be, oh, that's kind of cool. That'll take me into a 1-on-1. And then afterwards, whoever wins. I don't know if anybody else is coming in, though. Let's see if I can get back to the normal arena. Yeah, I'm going back to the main one. I mean, this is interesting. It looks like a mobile game. It's a prototype. Maybe this is why Sony's like, we're never going to do this. Because people don't understand what they're looking at. It's not meant to be a game that's finished. It's meant to be a game that's, you know, a prototype. You have this massive environment. What? Oh my God. Okay, you know what? I know you guys are just fucking trolling, and that's fine. But don't act like you don't think this is important. This is, yes, I know. Oh my God. Raveno says, this is just a 40-player Smash Bros. Yes. They say that. Although it's more than that because the actual weapons you pick up are a lot more interesting. But to act like what I'm saying to you guys is this is how Sony should be doing it. Because look at the loss they're going to take on Concord. Whereas they could have tested Concord in a lot of ways. And I know, and frankly, yes, you would need to put this in trials or in maybe their program, because a lot of you guys would be like, oh, I don't, it's crap. And it's like, but there are gamers out there that would be able to actually look at this and go, oh, I know what this is. Yeah, I'm going to move on in a second. I just want to try to at least show you some of the cool power-ups. Awesome says, what's more interesting to me is if these guys had money, what they could do. The point is, they're not going to waste their money unless people play the prototype and say, hey, this is really fun. And then they'll spend more money on it. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
It's getting closer.
I mean, you've got little places you can buy shit. Let's see, what do we want to buy? We'll buy a health kit. We can carry that around. We'll buy a bowl of noodles. I don't think I have enough money. Hang on. I don't know. Some of them are being dicks. Some of them are trolling. But to me, it's just funny is that the very thing we've been talking about the entire show is why is the game industry in the state it's in terms of taking chances or things being too expensive or they're not being risked or anything. And it's like, because you guys don't, you know, I mean, it's the game that matters. If it's good, they'll spend the money. I can't jump over that wall. I don't know why. Where are all the other fighters, though? There's 28 people left. Okay, I'm supposed to go over here. I'm not going to play. I'm just going to see if I can get to some more fighters, and then we'll move on. Because clearly you guys don't have the vision. Is having an opinion being a troll? Addy Pie, in your case, you're always trolling. But having an opinion and saying, here's how you do it, Addy Pie. Here's how you do it. Let me go back to what you've written. If you've written anything. Hang on. Give me a second. Okay, so what you have written in the chat, Addy Pie, is even prototypes can show potential. This doesn't. You haven't played it. I've literally shown it to you for 5 seconds. Why don't you download it this weekend and play it, and then you may have a pot to piss in. Or maybe you could say, I've played 6 games like this already, and it doesn't have potential because X, Y, and Z. But you just saying, oh, it's crap, it has no potential, I apologize if I don't take you all that serious. No, I don't. You have eyes. What are your eyes telling you then? Articulate what's bad about what you're seeing. What are you seeing that you don't like? Other than the fact that right now I can't quite figure out how to get to this level. There we go. And I'm not good at these kind of games. But I will. I'm going to play it more this weekend. Fine, you know what? Here, do me a favor. Do me a favor. If you have a PC, go get this game. It is free. If you have a PC and you're good at Smash, because I'm not good at Smash, okay? And then play it, and you tell me if you actually like it. It'll take you no time at all. The download is super small. It's basically a free game. And, you know, what if you fall in love with it? And you may not. But that's kind of the point of the prototype. At the very least, can't you celebrate the fact that this is a big deal? That all the stuff we're complaining about, that games are too expensive, that no one takes chances, that this is a way that could bring people more games and more interesting games. How is that not important to celebrate? I don't understand. I just don't get it. All right, well, I'll turn this off and we'll move on because, you know, sorry to have offended you guys with a game that, you know, I mean, again, maybe Sony's like, yeah, Jaffe, this is exactly why we don't do what you're saying. Because most of our audience just, they don't get it. No matter how we communicate it, they will not get it. They will see the visuals and they will say, oh, I don't want this. I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe Sony's right. Hey, George, thank you for that big super chat. He says, Jaffe, one big team can be turned into small pods to make tons of indies. Use lessons learned to build reusable components for big titles that you can reconfigure. 100%. You are absolutely right. He says, I know it sounds reductive, but in essence, it's true. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. You're only going to have good data coming from stuff like this. Absolutely 100%. 100%. It's not even an early alpha, Ravnos. It is a prototype. It's not an alpha. It is a prototype. It is 4 or 5 guys getting together and saying, you know what, let's make this thing. We think it's cool. And they made it, I don't know, in a month, 2 months. And then they said, hey, we think there's something here. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. Fuck it. Let's give it away for free. Let's let people play it for the weekend. And let's see if people like it. If they do, maybe we'll spend our money on that. If not, we'll move on to something else. How is that not wonderful? It's Battle Royale Smash, Morgan. It's 40-player Super Smash Bros. Is what it is. We'll move on though, because you know I don't mean to offend you with something that doesn't look like, you know. I don't know what you guys like anymore. I really thank God I'm out of the business. Thank God I'm out of the business. Because I don't know what you guys like. I don't know what the audience wants. Hell, I haven't known for a while, clearly, but I certainly don't know now. If you can't let me, as a gamer, can you imagine? I worked in games. I was thrilled when a programmer was like, hey, Jaffe, I got that prototype you were thinking about doing. I'd be thrilled. I'm like, oh my God, it's such an exciting day. I got to try out some new ideas. I can't believe it that you guys aren't excited to just try that shit out. Vitaphone says, it's not 8K 240 FPS ray tracing. The Digital Foundry fellas, they're not in favor of that game you showed, Jaffe. Not enough AI pixel upresing. Fine. Whatever happened to that skating arena game you were consulting on? Oh, yeah, that's Lee Perez's game, member of the stream. they're still working on it. They're having to make some changes and stuff. It's really difficult to be a small team and launch a multiplayer game these days because it requires a lot more shit than just the game itself. So, okay. Let me show you some other stuff though. Let's move on because again, I don't want to make you feel bad. I do want to tell you some stuff though. I want to be. When I say I'm glad I'm not in that racket, I'm glad I'm in this racket. I love doing videos and streaming in YouTube. I love it so much, and I love that you guys are here with me, either live or after the fact. It's a joy. I loved meeting a bunch of you guys at Colin's show last week. No, Bukkake, we did not do drugs. They had to leave early, but he says, let's do them next time. What a baby. But yeah. Digital Foundry had this to say, says, Zeke, this game looks like a festering Thor on Grandma's asshole. I added the hole. But I love it. And I get to do it in no small part because of these fine fellas here. Rock's Heart Vendetta, Swapfire, Rotten Tanuki, Zack Procrastinates, Eddie T. And I think we also had Lutron now ascend to the Gods of War. Not just the Gods of War, of course, Cult Calypso, Diet Soda Soldiers. You guys are bringing up the rear, but I did want to do a special shout out to those 6 that are putting the ducats in and really helping keeping the show going, along with our mods like Rotten Tanuki, Rob the Mod, RPG. Thank you guys very, very much. Speaking of some of those fellas, I do want to let you know Rotten Tanuki has his day 1 patch kids. He was just in Tampa doing artist alleys at a convention, and he got it was really cool. I'll put it on the next stream. He shared with me autographs he got in one of his Day 1 Patch Kids comic books, coloring books, which is basically, if you don't know, Day 1 Patch Kids are Garbage Pail Kids meet video games. They're excellent. You can see artwork behind me when the green screen's not on, t-shirts, stickers, all of this is linked below. Give it a look because it's good stuff. Throw some ducats to the man, support him. Very clever guy, very funny guy. But he got T.C. Carson, who was there at the convention as well, who was the voice of Kratos, the original Kratos. And he got Samoa Joe, who plays Sweet Tooth, not the voice, but the body is Sweet Tooth, in the Twisted Metal show. So he got to see 2 of my children, and he got autographs in his Day 1 Patch Kids book. Also, there is a game night coming up. I'm thinking it's going to be Call of Duty, the horror next week, the haunting. Probably Fortnite. I don't care what you think because it's awesome. And we might finally test out Swapfire multiplayer. This is one of our God of War members I just talked about. He made a game. It's only split screen, but you can play it local. You can play it on stream share, so I'll get some people and we'll play. It's a game where when you shoot people, you change positions with them. It's a very interesting mechanic. We did some work on this together. We talked about it together on the show a while back, but we're actually going to fucking play it. Since when do I play Fortnite? I play it with my kid all the time. I love it. I'm not good at it, but it's really good. But anyway, Swapfire. You can go on over to Steam right now and grab a copy, play through the tutorial, which is very interesting. Get your head around it, and give it a look. And we'll be playing it as one of our games on game night coming up in about 2 weeks. So, okay, let's move forward. I want to show you some stuff. Let me tell you what you guys are playing this weekend, by the way. Speaking of members, hang on. Okay. Lutron. Well, let me refresh this because this was from earlier today. Hang on. All right. Jadog is playing Star Wars Outlaws. These are members. This is what's going on as we go into the weekend. Bukkake says we should play Space Marine 2. Here's how you know I'm probably going to play Space Marine 2. One moment. This is how you know that is on my list. Because I have already made the thumbnail. Yee! I'll be playing that this weekend, if not tonight. So yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in. Oh, there's a black cat skin. Ooh, JSD. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay. Let's move on though. Let's move on. I want to tell you what the members are playing. Come on now. So we got Star Wars Outlaws being played by Judog. Oh, I see, Judog. Brad Skagg is still playing Persona 4 Golden, and he's going to be picking up the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. Stephen Hawking is playing Astrobot, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow in Julius mode. I know what all that is, but I don't know what Julius mode is. And he's going to be playing Battletoads. Okay, Space Marine 2 is Awesome Tatum. Satisfactory 1.0 releases Lord Garth, which I'm hearing great things about. I don't quite understand what it is. It looks like some kind of building survival game, but the reviews have been amazing. Yes, George, I'm still playing Marvel Snap. Absolutely. Funko Fusion is Rice Lighting. T-Jax 841 has been playing Power Wash Simulator, which is excellent. He says, I've been particularly stressed the last couple weeks, and he mentioned, Colin on his show mentioned that game is relaxing and zen. Yes, it's a delightful game, and it's on PS Plus. He says, if you're feeling stressed out or anxious, give it a play. Good Sir Mutant Mo is playing Marvel Capcom Collection and Space Marine 2. Jojo D, our very own Jojo D, Star Wars Outlaws, Astrobot, and Marvel Fighting Collection. We probably need to play that as the game night. If enough people have it, we'll make that one of our game night games coming up. Lutron is playing Astrobot with some Destiny. He says, keep your pets safe. That's right. King of the North playing two great games, Wukong and College Football 25, Astrobot and Black Myth Wukong Toxmod. Addy Pie is playing Wukong and Lollipop Chainsaw. Coolius Maximus, thank you, buddy, is playing Twisted Metal 2. I'm going to show you something about Twisted Metal in just a minute. Astrobot is coming from Fentazin this weekend. Sonic, he didn't tell us. Totally Sick of Onions, of course, just says, hey, is anybody into Bitcoin? No. Okay. All right, so thank you for sharing that. I will be playing this weekend Space Marine 2, Marvel Snap. I'm going to try to finish Star Wars Outlaws. Wayne says he's playing Visions of Mana. Listen to this, man. Visions of Mana came out last month or last week. No, it came out last month in Japan. It opened at number 4, which was not a strong opening. A month later, it's already out of the top 10 in Japan. The only PlayStation game now in the top 10 is Astrobot. Everything else is Switch. But I played the demo of Visions of Mana. I really liked it, but I just don't have the time to play it right now. I'm with you. Okay. Let's talk about Annapurna Interactive real quick. Z-Trigger says, can I have an invite to the Discord? Yeah, I'll put it up right now. You know what I don't like about Discord, which I've never understood? No matter how many things I change and I've clicked the right shit, these things still expire, even though you put a link up that says don't ever let it expire. Adam is playing Dragon Age Origins. Oh, thank you, Bukaki. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new one. I liked Inquisition. I know a lot of people didn't like Inquisition, but I did. Adam, I don't think I played Origins, though. Listen to this, though. Listen to this. All 25 members of the Annapurna Interactive group resigned. Okay? Hollywood Reporter covered this a little bit more in depth today. Annapurna, if you don't know, is really one of the best indie publishers for the last 10 years. What did they put out? They put out one of my favorite games of all time, which is What Remains of Edith Finch. They put out Stray. They have... I'm very excited for Mixtape, which is coming out, which is like all 80s and shit. They're Neon White, which was excellent. They're just, they're always doing good stuff. I worked with the co-head, Deborah Mars, at Sony, and I worked with Nate Gary, who ended up co-founding Annapurna Interactive. And then they made him the president of the entire goddamn studio. Well, apparently he was negotiating with what's her name? The woman who runs it, Megan Ellison. She runs Annapurna, which is a movie studio, and TV studio and game studio. And they were like, hey, can you spin us off? They had hired a new guy to run Annapurna Interactive from Epic Games, which I imagine still reported into Nate Gary, who, by the way, Nate Gary is the guy who came up with the idea of the share button on the PS4. So little trivia for you there. I don't know if when they brought in this Hector Sanchez from Epic, they were like, we're out of here. It sounds to me like what is going on if you look at the reporting, and I'll show you this. I'm looking at it from Hollywood Reporter, is that they were interested in bringing the games more into AAA large budget games and tying them into the movies that they put out, right? So instead of just sort of being their own little branch off that did quirky, weird, small things, they are saying, and this may be why the team left and said, that's not what we signed up for. I have no idea. But it sounds like that if you look at the Hollywood Reporter article. And so I assume what's going to happen is this group's going to head off and do, make their own company, as they should. I don't know if they'll be a developer or a publisher at this point because these were all publishers. I'll also tell you, we did pitch them one of our games after Drawn to Death failed. And it was the strangest pitch. I've talked about this before, but it was just weird. I don't think it was intentionally trying to be hipstery, but we were doing a video chat and Nick and I were in Bartlett Jones and we were looking at cameras like this and the whole team appeared and they were all just lounging on a staircase with shag carpeting. And it was just like, what is this? Okay. And it was really like, took you a minute to kind of get your bearings and get back in the game because it was so fucking hipstery and strange, but they're good people. Nathan is excellent. Deborah is excellent. Deborah was actually one of the key producers on L.A. Noire when that was at Santa Monica, as well as one of the key producers at Santa Monica on 6 Days in Fallujah when that originally started at Sony. So these guys are the real deal. I wish them well. Who knows why people who run companies do what they do. I don't know why they want to switch to big budget. Maybe the critical acclaim is great, but they're not making any money. I have no clue. Apparently, Megan Ellison got all this money from her dad, whatever his name is, some rich dude, and Larry Ellison. He's worth over $200 billion. So he bought this, or he let his daughter set this up, and his son got to set up something else. I don't fucking know. I have to wonder who in the company had the amazing eye for smaller games, Z-Trigger. It was probably Nate and Deborah. They were working on What Remains of Edith Finch at Sony Santa Monica, and Sony canceled it. Not because they didn't think it was going to be good, but because they were like, this isn't going to sell at the level we need it to sell. And so they killed it. And so my understanding or recollection was Nathan and Deborah said, fuck it, because they were the external producers. They were like, fuck it, let's head on over and let's get funding somewhere else. We're not going to give up on this. And I'm glad they didn't, because fucking brilliant. But I don't know if it was them or the developer that got Annapurna's funding first. I have no idea how it all came together, but I'm glad it did. But it sounds like all their indie games are still going. Mixtape is still coming out. But yeah, like Bukaki says, Annapurna is supposed to work on the TV adaptations of Alan Wake and Control. And they're also funding the sequel to Control. My understanding is that got set up and is happening not with the indie group that just left, but that was part of Hector Sanchez's initial salvo that he came in with. And maybe that was them going, hey, let's not do this indie shit. Let's try to make a lot more money at this. I have no idea. But as for who left, all 25 of them. So, I mean, Sanchez may be there with a couple of people, but Nathan left, Deborah left. Everybody's gone now. That made up the Annapurna you know and love. And if you don't know what they've made, I'll show you real quick and then we'll move on. But, these guys really are, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Let's see if there's a Wikipedia page. There has to be, right? Well, maybe here. I mean, everything they put out is Blade Runner's coming out. These are not out yet. Mixtape is the one I'm excited for. But they also put out Thirsty Suitors, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, which I haven't played, got great reviews. Cocoon, Storyteller is excellent. I'm surprised they didn't publish Viewfinder, but Stray, Neon White, Artful Escape, 12 Minutes wasn't great, but it was interesting. I Am Dead was interesting. Pathless, Unfinished Swan, Telling Lies. They worked on Journey, but they didn't put these. Some of these are members of their team, not what they put out. But they've put out a bunch of this shit that is very artistic and seems to really respect the medium as an art form. So I've always been a fan, and I'm sure they're going to go on to other really cool things. Really cool things. Okay. Let's check out the PlayStation Store top 24, August 2024 top downloads. I'm always interested in this shit. One moment, though. Okay. This is for last month. I'm going to take it off here because I like revealing it. I'm reading from 20 to 1. Mortal Kombat 1, number 20, MLB The Show, 24-19. In other words, MLB The Show's 19. Among Us is 18. Call of Duty Warfare 3, that dropped pretty hard, but I guess it's because the beta was out, is 17. 16, Cyberpunk 2077, Gran Turismo 7, Elden Ring, Sea of Thieves, Ghost of Tsushima. You noticing a pattern? Very few games. They're always the same games. Takes forever to put shit out. WWE 2K24, Hogwarts Legacy, Baldur's Gate, Spider-Man 2, Rainbow Six Siege, Star Wars Outlaws, Grand Theft Auto 5, Top 3, EA Sports College, EA Madden, number 1 Black Myth, Wukong. Star Wars came out on what day? No clue. I don't know. But it's in the top 1, 2, 3. It's in the top 5. It came out at number 5. I couldn't tell you when it came out. I don't remember. Let's see. Let's look at the free-to-play games. Free-to-play games. Think about this. The Sims 4, number 10. Apex Legend, 9. Rocket League, number 8. Still. Call of Duty Warzone, 7. Fall Guys, 6. First Descendant, 5. Asphalt Legends Unite. I don't even know what that is. 4. Roblox, 3. Fortnite, number 2. Valorant, number 1. That's what's going on. I agree about Star Wars being a flop. I'm just telling you what the reporting says, which is it hasn't sold very well. And it hit the stock. I love it. It's my game of the year at the moment. So, all right. I want to show you the cool... You may have already seen it. I don't care. I made sure to wait to watch the whole thing with you guys because it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds. But there's a number of people that make AI trailers that are obviously bullshit, but this one was delightful. This is a Street Fighter movie. If it were made in 1950, you got to see this. This is the shit. I'm going to take myself off the screen. I'll see you on the other side. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds.
In the heart of the city, where honor and strength are the only laws that matter, warriors from every corner of the globe gather for the ultimate test of skill and courage. Meet Ryu, the disciplined martial artist who seeks to perfect his technique and find his true path. His fists are like thunder, and his will is unbreakable. By his side is Ken, the fiery American fighter with a fierce spirit and a burning desire to prove he's the best. Together, they are an unstoppable force, pushing each other to the limits. Across the world, the infamous M. Bison lurks in the shadows, a ruthless dictator with sinister plans to dominate the globe. Enter the ring with Chun-Li, the lightning-fast warrior seeking justice for her fallen father, and Guile, the determined soldier out for revenge. Don't forget Blanca. Channels his untamed power and electric ferocity, shocking any opponent who dares to face him. Along with them are E. Honda, Dalsim, and Zangief. From the streets of Tokyo to the jungles of Brazil, these fighters will clash in battles that will test their strength, skill, and honor. But only the strongest will survive in this tournament where every punch, kick, and special move counts. It's a fight for glory, a fight for survival, and a fight to be the best. Get ready for the ultimate showdown. Street Fighter, coming soon to a theater near you. Let the battle begin.
I mean, come on. How that? If you're curious, that's from what are they called? Abandoned Films.
In the heart of the city, where
they do a bunch of these, right? There's an Elden Ring one. There's a Mortal Kombat one. It's pretty sweet. So I wanted to share that with you. I think it looks great. I watched that fucking movie. I'd watch the shit out of that fucking movie. But that's up there if you want it. They got a Beetlejuice one, Dune, Giraffe. I mean, they do it. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Should we watch a Mortal Kombat one? Now we're gonna watch the Mortal Kombat one. And then we're gonna get to. I want to show you the game I was working on that was canceled. Here we go.
In a realm where power and honor are the ultimate prizes, warriors from across dimensions are summoned for the fight of their lives. Step into the brutal world of Mortal Kombat, where champions are forged in the heat of battle. Meet Liu Kang, the noble monk with the strength of a dragon, fighting to defend Earthrealm from impending doom. Beside him stands Johnny Cage, the Hollywood star with a cocky grin and fists of fury, ready to prove that he's not just a hero on the silver screen. But the stakes are deadly, as dark forces rise from the depths of Outworld, led by the ruthless sorcerer Shang Tsung, who hungers for souls to fuel his wicked power. Joining the fight is Sonya Blade, a determined Special Forces officer with a personal vendetta, and Raiden, the god of thunder, protector of Earthrealm, wielding lightning against the forces of evil. In this unforgiving tournament, fighters like Scorpion, a vengeful spectre, and Sub-Zero, the icy assassin, will clash in epic battles that will test their strength, skill, and very souls. With every strike, every fatal blow, the fate of Earthrealm hangs in the balance. Who will emerge victorious in this brutal contest, where only the strongest survive? Prepare for a fight like no other, where only one can claim the title of champion. Mortal Kombat, coming soon to a theater near you. Step into the arena and let the combat begin.
Yeah, I don't realize how you guys are not impressed. I'm just like, I mean, some of you guys are, but some of you guys are like, that's horrible. Ravnos says, I cannot wait. I want you to listen to this comment. And no offense, Ravnos, you know I love you, but you're an idiot. He says, I cannot wait for all the major movie studios to just say bye-bye directors, writers, and actors. We can make shit like this now and people are too stupid to care. Your issue is people are too stupid to care then, right? This is the problem I have with people who have problems with stuff like this. Seriously, I don't mean this like I think I'm a big deal, but I'm an intellectual, relatively smart guy. You may not agree with me politically, you may not think I'm even that smart, but I like smart things. I like philosophy. I'm reading a book right now on the history of communication. I'm not like, flexing. I'm saying I like to have deep thoughts. I like to be challenged and moved by things. I'm not going to just go see a 2-hour movie that's not compelling, right? But if it's compelling and it can be made by AI, what do I care? Why would I? If I was a movie studio, it's not being pretentious, Addie Pie. I genuinely am curious about this book. What I'm saying is, though, if I can go see a movie, I don't care who made it. I don't care who wrote it. I want to be entertained. I want to be engaged. I know what you're talking about, Ravnos, but what I'm saying is, if the normies can't tell the difference, then the issue is not AI, right? That's like saying I shit between two pieces of bread and people still bought it. Okay, well, the issue isn't the shit between two pieces of bread. It's the fact that we live in a world where people are too stupid to care, or they're too busy trying to survive to care, right? I mean, I just think it's like, but if you were running a movie studio and someone came to you and said, we only need to hire 10 people and we can compete with studios that spend hundreds of millions of dollars and we only have to spend, our salaries for 5 of us and some computers, you wouldn't do it? Why? Addie Pie says if they announced an indie AI movie tomorrow, you'd watch it. If it were good, sure. If it were shit, I'd watch 5 minutes of it and move on with my life. I don't, what does it matter? Why pay Nolan millions when you can make 2-hour long these, says Ravnos? Because right now, 2-hour long these would get boring after the gimmick wears off. Whereas Nolan, depending on the movie, you can watch for 2.5 hours and you're compelled almost all the way through. But that's because these are trailers. This is meant to just be, isn't this a cool visual? But, give it time. Give it, look, that game we just looked at today, the Hollow Body game, which basically was made by one person. 12, 15 years ago, that would have needed a team of 25 people to make. One guy made it. Okay? If Christopher Nolan can sit in his mansion with a computer and tell a story without any of the headaches of making a real movie with sets and all that shit, and it's still compelling, what's wrong? What's the problem? But I agree, Morgan. I mean, this isn't the best AI. This stuff's kind of old, and there's some stuff in there that clearly looks bad, but come on. Compared to where we were, come on. I think people, I'm serious. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys make or have made entertainment for people for a living or have actually done it, but I've done it. Okay. And I'm telling you, I think a lot of people who haven't made actual content romanticize it, or they want to make it and they romanticize it, but it's not romantic. It's not. It might be romantic and spiritual when you watch it, and that's awesome. But it's work, and it's stressful, and it's hard, and it's fake, and it's manipulative, all of it. And that's not a bad thing. That's the process of making creative work for people. And, if I could have made Twisted Metal by myself, and not have to get on a plane and fly and argue with programmers and debate with Scott and compromise with Kellen, probably wouldn't have been as good because all those guys brought a lot to it. But at the same time, I could have had exactly my vision. And that's what you guys are fighting for. Oh, it's the person. It's the artistic vision. I get games are not film, Vitaphone. I understand, but it's an artistic medium. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But look, I mean, don't fucking watch it. I don't care. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just telling you that if it's a good movie, I'll watch it. I don't care how it's made. If it's a bad movie, I won't. If it's a good game, I'll play it. If it's not, I won't. How big of a pain in the ass was it every time you had to send an artist back to the drawing board because they didn't nail it, says Z-Trigger? How much time did that waste? Well, yeah. I mean, and it was expensive. I mean, I was lucky because I worked with some great fucking artists and a great team out in Utah. But, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and it was hard. And wouldn't it be great if instead of doing that, you could put that energy somewhere else that the consumer would benefit from. So I don't know. That's my take. Speaking of games I've made, Hawking says, you seemed awful pissy and stressed in the old ass making of videos. I was. It's hard. It's really hard to do those jobs. Okay. I want to show you. I want to talk about this game real quick. I want to show you one thing first. This is a real quick clip, but I loved this woman's response, and I just want to share it with you. This is the woman who designed the Nike swoosh And this has to do with video games, I promise. She's the one who designed it. She was a freelancer. I think she said she got paid like $75 or $350. Yeah, she got paid $35 in 1972. Okay. And here's her response. And her response when people ask her, don't you think you should have, you should be super rich and shit, is kind of what I get a lot, or people are like, well, I created it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but you created it under a certain agreement. Here's what she says.
Maybe the price wasn't great at the time. They paid what I charged, though, but I've gotten so many referrals from the people that I worked with.
They paid what I charged. Sony paid my salary. People are like, aren't you mad you don't own God of War? Well, I'd love to own it. I'd love to own Twisted Metal. I'd love to own Drawn to Death, believe it or not. But that wasn't the deal that was made. They paid my insurance. They paid bonuses. They paid salaries. They took great care of all of us for the most part. I know I have a decent life, bro, says Stephen Hawking, but I'm saying though that if I don't have a decent life, or I do, is irrelevant. If I don't have a decent life and I'm pissed about it, I get it. But they didn't fuck her. They didn't fuck me. Right? That was what she charged. And they paid her what she asked for. You're supposed to go back now retroactively and say, I didn't have a deal with you to make money beyond what I asked for. Yeah, that's right, Vitaphone. You're right, actually. You're absolutely right to some extent. He says, Jaffe is constantly pushing for the total collapse of artists being able to make a living from their respective mediums. That's right. I'm not actually pushing for the collapse of them to be able to do it. What I'm saying is, if you rip the romance out of it, which is totally not a real thing, people, if you want to make art for the sheer joy of it, then go do that if you can afford it, or find a medium that you can't afford to work in. But you act like suddenly people have gotten meaner and greedier. People have always gotten whatever they can get for what they can sell. Okay? And if it's not that I want to see people get out of jobs, but ultimately the jobs exist because they provide a service at market value. And if the AI can do it as good, better, good enough, it's not that I want universal base income. I want more socialist programs. I want people to suffer. But make that what we're talking about. But don't act like, don't kind of piggyback that very noble desire onto this particular argument. And you don't get it. He says, I get it. You made your money and people shouldn't be able to come up and do it again. I didn't say that. People should, but build a better mousetrap. If you can make a better movie than AI, then and the audience will be there for it, then you deserve to make money. But I'm sorry, if an AI can speak to the audience as well or good enough as you can, you're not owed money just because you want to make movies. Sorry, you're just not. But if you make something and you make a good deal that will get you in a position and the audience wants it, then you're set to go. No, I've never said too bad, find a new job like I don't care. I have always been saying, that we need universal base income. We need much more socialist programs in this country because we don't take care of people and people need taken care of. And especially with all of this technology coming in, it's going to be awful if we don't create that sort of society. It's a different thing though. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading. Okay. But it's not that I don't want. Look, my daughter is a songwriter. She doesn't make any money at it. She may never make any money at it. Before that, she wanted to be an actual artist. And I tell her, okay, draw till the day you die. Hopefully you'll be a little old lady that lives to 110. But I warn you, if you think that's going to be your main job, it might, it's possible, but you are going to be going up a hill that's really hard and harder than it's ever been to go up. It's not that I don't want my child to make a good living. It's not that I don't want her to do what she loves, but I'm not going to lie to her about the fact that most people, if they can create concept art, for example, for a video game, and it's good enough for the purposes of what they need, and it's basically free, why would they pay the day rate of an artist, which is ranges, depending on the art skill, $500 to $2,000 a day? Why? But I also think it's important to say, if AI is generating art, you better fucking be generating it legally, and we need laws for that shit. AI will bring many shitty videos and movies. It's just like YouTube, though. You don't have to watch them. The ones that people want to watch rise to the top. Some don't, but a lot do. Anyway, speaking of games, here's a great example, by the way. Okay, this is a game that I made that I didn't make it. My team made it. My company with Nick and everybody made it. But I'm working at Bartlett Jones. Drawn to Death is canceled. Sony had said to us, and to their credit, they said, we'll make something with you after this regardless. Because we all believed in Drawn to Death. Believe it or not, we thought it was going to do well. And we were all kind of surprised. Took some people longer to be surprised than others. But we said, okay, let's make something else. Okay, great. So we were kind of kicking around the can trying to figure it out. And again, I'm not going to name names, but the person who said, look, I don't want you to release this yet because his boss, who's left the company, said probably not a good idea to put this out, that we canceled this. And I said, okay, I get that. And so his boss left a while ago, and now I found out, I didn't know until I was at Colin's show, and some Sony people were there last Friday. And they're like, oh, that person left. They retired. I'm like, shit, really? So then I'm like, oh, fuck it. I don't care. Don't give a shit. So now that they're gone, I want to share it. So this person came to us and said, yeah, I know you're working on some stuff, but we really want to do with you guys another service-based game. We want to really try to make it a push for PlayStation Plus. We're going to spend a bunch of money on it. It'll be server authenticated. It's not peer-to-peer. We really want it to be super mainstream. And we want it to be obviously compelling and fun, and we want it to drive people to subscribe to PlayStation Plus and all kinds of things. It was a big deal. And so we spent about 5 months doing prototypes. And I don't think this was our strongest prototype, but it's what Sony wanted. I've already talked about some of the ones. The one that I think at the end that we really should have made was basically PUBG before Fortnite came out. It was a battle royale, but it was on a space station that was coming apart as it was going towards a black hole. And there was only an escape pod for one person. And so everybody, or one team, depending on the mode. So everybody was fighting for that escape pod, and the level was getting smaller and smaller as parts were falling into the black hole. And there were really cool things you could do. It was like you could put yourself, like you could get all these cool weapons, and you could put yourself in like a cryo sleep, and you would wake up without any of your weapons. But what it would basically do is your next life, if you could find the cryo chamber, you could go to sleep and wake up with the weapons. You could like send your future selves items for the next battle royale, right? And there was like 0G sections where you flew out into space and you were shooting. It was very rough. I wish we would have done that one. And we actually did a rough prototype, but they ultimately wanted this. Rocket League was all the Ravnos. No, I had lost touch with Rusty. I ran into him because he was at Tommy's thing. What is that called? Amico. But I hadn't seen him in years before that, a couple years back. But anyway, so they wanted this. They wanted something much more mainstream, and we pitched them a couple of different things. They said, go with that. It started out being a game where you were basically playing Rocket League, but with giant water cannons. And we couldn't quite make the physics work. And so we ended up changing it to this. I took all the sound out of this because it was originally edited to a Run the Jewels song, and I don't want to get a copyright. And there's a lot more content somewhere I can't find it, but this was just like a sizzle reel. This was done in Unreal, I guess, 4. This was not finished. This wasn't even alpha, but this was all playable, and it was pretty fun, actually, if you had the right tweaks. But here you go. We were calling this, I think we were calling it Wrecking Ball or Tornado Ball. I don't remember. But here you go. This is what we were doing. And then I'll tell you what happened. So you're able to suck the ball and blow the ball. Yes, we had fun with this. You can run on walls. You can steal it from people. You can charge it up. And it's basically Rocket League. You're trying to get it into a goal. And you're these kind of robot things. You could customize them. They could fly around. It's pretty what you see is what you get. But there was a lot of nuance to the physics. You could fight over the balls. If a teammate came and helped you, you could have more of a suck effect. You had shields that you could block the ball. You could tackle people. You could do English, curve shots, all kinds of things. So it was neat, and it was getting there. You could pass it to teammates. I haven't seen this in ages. You can tell it's got Rocket League influences. And let's see. There was no goalie. You could run into the goal whenever you wanted, like Rocket League. So you could kind of be the goalie if you wanted to, or you could have 3 guys guarding it, blah, blah, blah. Unreal. This was Unreal is what this was. And there's a lot of concept art. I just got to find it. But anyway, so we did this. We pitched it to Sony. They seemed pretty happy. And so they were like, go with God. Let's do this shit, man. Let's like I said, we got more office space and all this shit. And then somewhere along the lines, what happened was, the partner that we were working with, at PlayStation Plus, we weren't talking to PlayStation Plus, but they were. And somewhere along the lines, my understanding was PlayStation Plus was like, maybe we don't want to kind of do a PlayStation Plus centric game or something. And then they just said, yeah. And so we can't really, and Sony first party at the time did not have the funding because they had already spent their money for the year and put the money into other teams. And without PlayStation Plus coming on to sort of help fund it, they were like, we can't continue to support it. So we have to cancel it, and we don't have any more work for you guys. And we were exhausted, and I was tired, and Nick was tired, and the failure of Drawn to Death was emotional. And so, we just let the team know almost immediately that this is probably the end of the line. And about a week and a half later, it was really bad timing. We ended up talking to Psyonix, who makes... Now they're part of Epic, but they make, I don't know if they were at the time, but they make the what's it called? The Rocket League. And they were looking to branch out as well. But, all our programmers were mostly gone that had worked on the physics and stuff and the tuning. And we just, we didn't have a build that was ready to go out and play. So we sent them a build because they seemed interested, but it wasn't one that played very well. And so we never heard back from them because it was one of, we didn't know we were going to get canceled. So it wasn't like we had like a sexy build ready to go. We were like a month and a half into a 3-month milestone, and things were broken and all over the place and blah, blah, blah. So, but there you go. That was a game. I think Unreal would have been better for Drawn to Death. Unity was a mistake, but it was a smart decision based on what we knew at the time. But no, we should have gone with Unreal for sure, Swapfire. I can't imagine the fucking stress involved making this shit, says Steven. It's like my parents for years, like, why don't you make games? You're good at playing them. I mean, it's stressful, but it was fun for a very long time for me. But, running an independent company, and Nick really did all the heavy lifting when it came to like the finances and, the management and all that shit. I was just, creating stuff and designing and leading the company at a creative level. He's now running, what are they called? That's No Moon, which I hope we see something from him sooner than later. It's been a while. I'd love to see what they're working on. But anyway, yeah. So who owns the rights? I think Sony still owns them because they funded it. And so nobody at Sony has ever told me not to show it. It was just, except this guy. But now that he's gone, and he didn't say don't show it for legal reasons. He was saying don't show it because his boss didn't seem to think it would be a good look if people found out that it was canceled. And his boss is gone, and now he's gone. So fuck it. How many people was on this team? Not a lot. This was a team of about 25, maybe. So yeah, there you go. So that was, I think it was called, I think it was Wrecking Ball, but it was fun, man. It was, and the tackles were great. And, the hardest thing about this was doing the online physics for the programmers, of making sure the ball and all the calculations happening with the ball were shared properly across at the same time. Because there's a lot, it's not like a projectile based game where once the weapon fires, you're able to just go, okay, well, we know where we can process that locally because all we need to know is where it fired. The ball was constantly having forces affected on this thing. And it was tough too, because I actually brought in a design consultant halfway through, a guy who wrote the book A Theory of Fun, Raph Koster's great nuts and bolts designer, because I could never figure out the length of the air. Now they look like bolts of lightning, but it was a better game when you had to get really close to the ball, but there was the intuitive desire to be able to affect change in the ball from far away. And so it was a lot of work to kind of find that sweet spot. But yeah, and you could run on the wall, and if you ran on the wall with the ball, it charged it up and it went faster. And so you had a better chance of getting it past a goalie and all that shit. This was the only arena for that build. We were definitely testing out other arenas and stuff, but we weren't that far along. This was about 4 months of work after we locked the prototype, but we spent about 5 or 6 months. That's why I don't have any ill will towards Sony. I mean, these guys, we released a failure of a game. They promised us we'd do something else. They funded us for, 6-7 months just looking for a game to make. And then we all made this, and they funded that. And they just, end of the day, we're just out of money in the development budget for this year. And so, they didn't owe us anything. And so it was a great experience working with those guys. Were you contemplating personalities for the characters? Not really. So it was basically, and if I can find some of the concept art, I will. But it was really built to be a service-based game from the ground up. So these robots were really sort of meant to be pretty generic, and then it was going to be, the same old shit. It was going to be items and top hats and cigars and, jerseys, and, you could unlock and buy little tchotchkes to put on them, but it wasn't like, there was no narrative or it wasn't anything like that. No, it was a pure sports game. So there you go. That was, I don't think it was Vac Ball Leave. Maybe it was Vacuum Ball, but maybe it was because it was originally Air, but I don't fucking remember. I don't know why it was, Video VBL. Maybe it was vacuum ball. I don't think we would have ever stuck with that. In fact, we call him Smurg, but what was his actual name? Still is his actual name. Great artist. He actually went out and brought in a leaf blower, and we got a beach ball just to try to figure out the physics of this and played a little. I mean, we weren't tackling people in the office, but we were actually using leaf blowers to figure it out. Oh yeah, I enjoy doing this much more because I mean, again, yeah. Steven says I think you enjoy what you do now and seem a lot less stressed. I mean, look, I'm not owed a non-stressful life, and I'm still stressful. I'm stressful, and the work is stressful. But you know, it's there's a point I think for me where I was like, I think I kind of said all I needed to say when it came to being a designer, at least at that level. So I would very much like to make a couple other games if the situation went right, but if I never make another game, I'm totally fine. And this audience, I mean, hell, I can't agree with you guys 90% of the time. Balls Deep would be a good, yeah, there you go. That's a good name. But you know, so we'll see. You never know, but I enjoyed it. There you go. Okay. Speaking of games though, I want to show you one last thing. This is a game called Wreckage. And this guy reached out to me on email. And he said he watched my video about Twisted Metal, new physics and all this shit. And he says, it's amazing you said that because I've been doing something like that. And at first I thought he meant he had made the omnidirectional car. I don't think so. But this is called Wreckage. And you can add it to your wish list. He might send you, if you reach out to him, he might send you a copy. I don't fucking know, or let you download it. But it's really neat. It's basically, I'll just show you a couple minutes of it because it's kind of basically sort of Twisted Metal too, like down to its menus and shit. Let me bring it up really fast. It'll take just 2 seconds because it is on Steam, but that's not where I downloaded it from. Okay. Un momento. Where the fuck is it? It's not popular. It's not out yet. It doesn't exist yet. He's still working on it. Hang on. I'm sorry. I got to find it. You know what? I'll show it to you guys next stream. I'll just show you the trailer right now because I can't find where I downloaded it. But here's what I'll say. Out of all the people that have tried to make a Twisted Metal game, and I mean like a literal Twisted Metal game, it plays as close to that. I mean, it controls like Twisted Metal. The buttons are like Twisted Metal. The menus are like Twisted Metal 2. It is, by their own admission, I mean, it is very much a Twisted Metal 2 love letter. And it's really, cool. I don't think it solves the problems, at least what I've played, of car combat. But if you have a hankering for the nostalgia of TM2, it's some good stuff, man. I recommend it. But it should be out early next year. But he told me he was cool if I made a video of it, and I'll make a video and I'll talk about it and give you my experiences with it. But this, you can at least wish list it if you want to follow it. And this is on Steam and it's called Wreckage. And it was cool to see. It definitely plays better than TM2 and 3. I don't mean that in a mean way. Just, the physics are better. All right. There you go. Fellas, that's Gabbin' and Games for Friday the 13th, you guys. New members, welcome. Super chats, thank you. Old members, thank you. I mean, look, if you like the show, consider liking it with a little thumbs up thing. Consider a subscription, a membership. Tell your friends, tell your mom. I don't fucking know. I'll be streaming a bunch this weekend, making videos, making content all week. I'll see you guys soon. Might be streaming what's it called? The goddamn Space Marine tonight. If not tonight, it'll be tomorrow. Astrobot, I'm on the 4th planet, Ravnos. And Bukaki, I'll let you know if I want to do multiplayer, but I probably want to play at least the first few hours on my own to get my bearings. But then, yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, coming up next week, members only, we're doing game night. I'll give you details in the next couple days. And Z-Trigger says he's going to go adopt a poodle. Fuck yeah, you are. Told you, 80%. 80%. All right, fellas. Be well, be safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.